Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy, Simeon Russell, and I'm coming at you with nothing but Knicks, and we have a great show for you tonight. I'm hoping that you're tuning in. I just had to turn my volume up. We got Knicks Film School. We're going to break down the cap. Let's get with it, y'all. So here we go. We got Knicks Film School on the line with us. And I'm sure you all are familiar with Knicks Film School. He's been around. He's been rising. I'm telling you, this guy has been rising. Something crazy. I've been so impressed. I can remember the first time that I seen one of your videos, JB. And I was actually kind of jealous because I was like, geez, I wish I could break it down the way he breaks it down. So I just, before we even get started, what just what made you get into breaking down film? And how'd you get into it?
It's funny. It sort of came about mostly because I'm a fan of the Knicks and I spent way too much time watching them as it was. And I was like, probably similar to you right now with this stream where you say, or all of us say as fans, like, hey, we like this team and we also know a lot about them, right? Like we can coach them better than the coaches can.
Right.
But no, I mean, I just had, I guess, enough background in knowing about basketball, not so much from coaching or anything, but just kind of playing, watching it closely, that it was always something that interested me, getting more into like X's and O's and whatnot. And I just didn't see, I saw people doing it, but I saw them doing it on like the national scale. I didn't see anyone for particular teams. There's, Laker Film Room. There's a couple other ones, but yeah, so I said, hey, this would be cool to do it for the Knicks, not expecting it would get popular or anything, but luckily people have liked it.
Yeah, a lot of people have liked it. I know when I first started doing just some of my videos, and I would go to break something down, and I said, well, wait a minute, let me look and see if Knicks Film School already has it. And I look and see, and by golly gee, there it was. You already had it. And then I remember I sent you a message and asked you, could I use some of your videos in a video, to break things down. And so then I just, started to say, you know what? There's no sense in reinventing the wheel. He's already done it. He does a great job. And you're kind of my go-to when if I want to break something down. I kind of go to you and see if you've already broken it down. So you've done a great job. Hey, you might end up working for the Knicks, breaking down film.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but we'll. I guess we can all dream, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they already go to your channel to break things down and say, okay, what are we not doing, or what do we need to be doing? Wouldn't be surprised, but you really do a great job. I know I really appreciate what it is that you do. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you for sure.
Yeah. So, what do you think so far of Summer League, the draft? What's your take on everything?
No, I mean, I think we have reason to be excited, right? Like, I know everyone wants to get on the fact that it's only Summer League. Let's not get too excited about Summer League. Typical Knicks, you win June. But the funny part is it's not really typical Knicks, right? Like, not only have the Knicks been bad in the season, but because they've traded draft picks or made bad draft picks, even guys early on, I'm thinking back to like the Frederick Weiss days where like you just knew early on it seemed like they didn't make the right pick.
Right.
It's actually been pretty rare that I feel like there's been this much excitement right in the summer. Like I think usually the excitement is, okay, maybe they're going after a free agent and then, they don't hit on it, but at least people are hoping that they do. So I'm just excited because for once there's a legitimate reason to be excited about the path that the team's taking in terms of investing in their young players and young players that not just Knicks fans think could be good players.
Yeah, that's definitely a change than what we've seen in the past, which is the reason why I think it scares a lot of Knicks fans when people begin to talk about trades and the Knicks making moves and those type of things. I think they get a little bit nervous, because we have some young talent on the team, talent that you can look at and they're going to be good. As a matter of fact, I think Bleacher Report put out a report. I read it today. They kind of redrafted the draft already based on Summer League. And in that redraft, they had Kevin Knox going 5. And I think they had Mitchell Robinson, I think it was 7 or 8 or something like that.
Right.
So in essence, you look and you say, wow, the Knicks possibly got 2 first-round draft picks out of this draft when they only had 1 because they, did their due diligence. And it's such a change for the Knicks.
Yeah. Especially Mitchell Robinson. I mean, if they could find someone, I think I looked it up a while ago, but they have not had a second-round pick play more than 2 seasons in New York since Gerald Wilkins, 1985 through 89 or wherever he left.
Mm-hmm.
We had people like Landry Fields play 2 seasons, and it was kind of exciting before he left. Trevor Ariza was a good second-round pick, but he didn't do it all in New York. If Mitchell Robinson, a guy who, like you said, could have potentially been a lottery pick, but because of various reasons fell down, and he somehow fell to the Knicks, it's like usually these guys are falling to some other teams. It's like the Spurs will pick him up, and we'll all be like, of course the Spurs got him because they're all smart and whatever. It's like,
right.
Maybe finally it's us. We were the ones who got that guy, and I'm just hoping, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you, B. It feels good to be the team that finally got that guy. I've been like that for so long. I've seen so many teams just pick a guy out the draft or pick a guy up off the street from somewhere out the G League or whatever it is. And, not that they turn into a star, but they turn into a really good player. And I'm like, where were we? We had the same opportunity as these other teams. Where were we? But this time it feels like we actually made the right move, and it feels good. It feels really good.
Exactly.
Yeah. So of course we want to talk about the cap. But before we start on the cap, I want to get this out of the way. And some of the people in the chat's gonna be upset. But listen, people, my friends in the chat. And I'll bring this up again throughout the chat as more people come in. But I'm speaking to a fellow Nas fan. All right.
That's right.
And I'm always bringing up Nas. And, people are like, are we talking about Nas again? But it's always great to speak to a fellow Nas fan.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's funny because it's like, it's still hard for me to believe that we could talk about someone like Nas and it sounds like we're like the old timers,
Right.
Like I talk to a lot of my like younger friends and they're like, oh, here you go again with the 90s hip hop is the best. And
yeah,
but it's just like, I don't know. I just, if you grew up in that era and even if you didn't, I think you recognize, what they were. And I know you were a big Nas fan, so we've talked off the air about it. But the Knicks that time in the 90s, the Knicks were good and Illmatic and it was written and everything was coming out. It's like that, those were the days.
Yeah, it was a time. I mean, in the 90s, that year, 1994, right? That night, and I actually wrote a blog post about it, sent it to Alan Hahn, and he responded to me about it too because he just had similar feelings, but a lot of my friends had similar feelings. But in 1994, I graduated from high school in '94. Right, and I know some people in the chat is probably gonna call me old. That's cool. I'm cool with that though. I'll be an OG for you guys. Now, I graduated from high school in '94. In 1994, my son was born. In 1994, the Knicks went to the championship, and O.J. Simpson got in the way. I'm gonna tell you what, I was pissed off that night. I was, I was sitting there watching the finals. We were, I forgot what game it was, but we're in the middle of watching the finals, and they cut off and go to a white Bronco.
Yep.
I was like, I don't care about O.J. Simpson or what happened. I just want to get back to the Knicks. But
well, that was before Twitter or all the different channels. So it's like they had to put it on the main channel. It's hard to believe now.
Yeah, right. That was something, man.
Yeah. Oh,
But
Big
yeah,
L, I see in the chat. Someone just said Big L. Shout out to Big L too.
shout
But
out
anyways,
to
go
oh
on.
definitely shout out to Big L. Yeah, I love Big L. Man, Big L would have been one of the greats. I mean, he is one of the greats. He didn't have a lot of time to, put out a lot of music, but yeah, he would have been
No,
one of
yeah.
the greats, man. But yeah, in 1994, the Knicks were in the finals, and then Illmatic dropped in 1994, so that was a great year
Yep.
for me. And
Yeah, no,
I've been a Nas fan ever since, and it's funny because it's like every time he puts out an album, it's almost like he's speaking about something that's going on in my life at the same exact time, and I can relate. It's like I'm talking to a big brother. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
well, like you said, if you graduated
Yeah.
high school, so you're a little bit older than me, but it's like he was probably about that same age, right? When Illmatic, wasn't he only like 17, 18, something like that?
Yeah, 19, 20, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
yeah, the same age. So then what's your thoughts? I know we talked about it a little bit before, but maybe there's been some time since we talked. What's your thoughts on the latest album with Kanye?
I mean I'm still in the same boat. I like it, but it's not what I wanted.
Yeah, no,
You know,
no.
it's
It's
not
you
it's
gotta
yeah,
get, and it's funny because I like Kanye, but it's just like this is Nas. Like there should be Premier on there. There should be,
exactly.
Large Professor. Like get some of these guys on there. Like you don't need to have a whole album of just Kanye.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly. It just wasn't what I don't know. It missed some of the edge. Didn't have some of the edge that we're used to him having. I felt on a few of the tracks. There were a couple of tracks that maybe had some edge, but a few of the tracks I thought he was a little bit lazier than
yeah,
than usual. I mean, there's definitely some dope songs on there. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, yeah. No, and
you
I'm
know,
looking too at the chat. We were talking about that time. The other one was this was later '90s, but with Ron Artest, because we're talking Nas, talking Queensbridge. It's like
hmm
again that time frame, where it was like everything was just like on the, I always say it's like on the same corner, where it's
right,
like hip hop was, New York was the place, and the Knicks, Madison Square Garden was the place. Like that was just the time, and it's
exactly,
just like,
exactly. That was
wow, it
just
seems like forever ago.
Yeah, it was just the time, and it was just a total different vibe and feeling than it is right now in hip hop, and I don't have anything against the sounds that's coming out right now, the stars, the rappers that's coming out right now. I really like J. Cole. I'm a big J. Cole fan,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but there's just a different vibe and a different feeling, But
Yeah,
that's
no,
yeah,
the rhyme, you know, there's just not as much said. I think it's more about sounding good around a beat,
hmm
So, you're trying to wrap the rhyme around the beat, which is fine. And sometimes that's effective, but it's like, there's just not as much there. I listened to it a couple times. It's like, all right, I heard what you said the first time. I never need to go back, where I can
yeah,
like still go back to Illmatic and be like, wow, I didn't even hear it that way before. Like
exactly,
he's got so much packed in there that
right.
you're just like, you need to listen several times.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we should
But
probably get back to
yeah,
the Knicks
yeah,
segment.
let's get back to the Knicks.
We'll go
But
on forever on Nas, right?
right, forever. But I'll leave it with this because they don't know this. I think I told you this when we spoke earlier. Guys, the name of the channel is nothing but Knicks. But when I first started the channel, I really thought about calling the channel Nas and Knicks or Knicks and
Yeah,
Nas,
yeah.
something like that, because I really felt like the two fans would really intertwine, and it would be, of course, it wouldn't be just about Nas. It would have been about hip hop as a whole. But I didn't. It's called Nothing But Knicks, so we're gonna talk about the Knicks. For the chat starts to yell at me like they
But we
do
couldn't. What
often.
about what do you think of Nasty Knocks? That's how you can tie the
Nasty
name.
Knocks.
The
There
names
you
together.
go. I love that. Exactly. Nasty Knocks. You got Nasty Knocks. You got Nilmatic.
Yep, that's right. We
Well,
can start building up the whole team.
there it is. Exactly. All right. But I know about people here. People want to talk about the Knicks. They want to talk about the cap. So I'm gonna leave it to you. What's our cap situation like right now? Just where are we right now with the cap?
Yeah. So I mean, right now, I think everyone knows that we're over the cap, right? So the only way the Knicks could still sign a player, but the only way they could do that is using one of their salary cap exceptions. So
hmm
you have, I guess, just to explain how it works in case people don't. A lot of people now know all this nuance, anyways. But in case some people don't, it's once you're over the cap, the only way you can sign a player is by using a salary cap exception. And there's certain exceptions that are allowed based on how far over the cap you are and what type of free agents that you have on your team that you could re-sign. So I haven't seen it. Knicks have what's called renounced Michael Beasley. So meaning since he played for them last year, they technically could re-sign him even though they're over the cap for a small increase.
Okay.
And then New York City have the biannual exception, which gives them about $3.5 million, and it can only sign someone up to 2 years. So really where they're at right now is the roster's full. They're at 15, and maybe we could talk a little bit about the decision to cut Troy Williams to get there. So if they sign someone, they would have to do two things. One, they would have to use that biannual exception, so they'd be limited in how much they spent. And two, they would have to make a roster spot by opening night. You can carry up to 20 players, including two-ways during the offseason. By opening night, you got to get down to 15. So they would have to cut another player or trade 2 players for 1 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where they're at now.
So that's where they're at right now. Do you see any of those moves happening? Is there anyone out there that we're interested in that we really want to bring in? Because when you look at the roster, looking at the roster right now, I think that there should be some moves made if we want to just clean it up a little bit. Right? I think.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on what they plan on doing with Noah. So meaning like, do they plan on keeping him on the roster and playing him? Do they plan on buying him out? And then that kind of tells you whether you think you need another big man, because otherwise, Mitchell Robinson, we're all excited about him from Summer League, but he's not going to be able to go from playing high school basketball to no basketball to an 82 game schedule playing major minutes. And then your other bigs with KP hurt are guys like Cornette and Isaiah Hicks on a two-way. So I think they would need if Noah isn't the veteran big that they keep, to me, that would be the area that I think they would need to, beef up if they're going to add someone.
Right. Okay. So,
but yeah, who that would be, I don't know. Actually, it's been a little while since I've even looked at what the list would be remaining for free agents that would be in that price range. But it's obviously someone that's willing to sign like a low 1-year deal because they don't want to take up any cap space. So no one, no one's sexy. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, right. Definitely.
Oh, and Cantor. Right. I'm forgetting Cantor. Someone in the chat, Edward Stalling. Thanks for, how do I forget Ennis? He's on my social feed every 5 minutes.
Every day. Right. But if there is someone out there that we want to sign, that means we've got to waive someone at some point, right? Before the season starts. Waive someone or some kind of trade. But let's just say, we'll talk about some trades, I guess, a little bit later. But if we were to waive another player, who do you think that would be? If we wanted to sign someone?
Yeah, so, I thought before the whole Troy Williams thing happened, I've been big on, I don't think they should stretch Noah because, we can get into the cap mechanics of that, but basically, you're taking his salary and spreading it over more years. But the hints that you hear in interviews with the Knicks and I don't know, I just think that was likely what they're going to do. So because of that, I just assumed they'd get down to 15 players by stretching Noah. So now with Troy Williams gone, and if they still, bought out Noah, then that would give them a roster spot. And then I think the other one a lot of people point to is Ron Baker, right? So he's making $4.5 million, but do you pay $4.5 million to have him on your roster? Or do you say, well, I'm going to have to pay that $4.5 million anyways, so I'll waive him and, sign someone to fill that spot. Again, they're not spending a lot more. So it costs you maybe another $2 million to have someone that you might find more useful. Like a Trevor Booker, I think is a good example. A player like that.
Right. So do you think with Troy Williams, do you think it was, going back to him, do you think it was purely, did it purely have to do with the cap? it's just hard for me to believe that they was really pressed to move $100,000.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, him and Trey Burke are the two non-guaranteed contracts. So if you're
Right.
just doing purely based on math, you would say, okay, we're over the roster limit. We need to cut someone. Let's cut one of our non-guaranteed contracts because then we don't owe him any more money. So
Right.
they're not going to cut Trey Burke. So there's Troy Williams.
Yeah.
But with the Knicks, it's funny. As much as we all know Dolan is Dolan, usually money is actually not the issue, right? Like, I'm not worried that he's thinking, oh, I got to save $2 million, so I'm going to cut Troy Williams instead of Ron Baker. So I wouldn't be surprised if the real reason with Troy Williams is now with the wings the Knicks have on the roster, obviously with Knox and Hazonia, they probably didn't see him playing a ton of minutes. And you
Right.
can kind of look back now and say, oh, yeah, in Summer League, why was Troy Williams, who this is technically his third year, and why was he even playing all these minutes, right? Like,
Right.
I think him and the team out where they said, look, if he's not going to have a big role here, kind of help us out. And they showcased him in Summer League. And then, now hopefully he finds a spot and it helps him fix the roster issue.
Yeah, and I think that latter point is what it was. I really do think that his agent just looked and said, hey, we might be able to get a deal someplace else, maybe the same amount of money but longer, a longer time, or longer, more amount of years or whatever it is. And so they did him a solid. That I kind of think maybe that's what it was. Because he wasn't like, he's not going to play, he wasn't going to get much playing time, most likely. He might have got, a few minutes here or there, but he probably wasn't going to get a ton of playing time. And I think they probably just did him a solid, which I think is a good look. I think those type of things, I believe, are important when you're talking about our management team, right? Because when free agents come to a team, they want to know that the executive office or whoever, whatever you want to call them, the front office is going to take care of them, right? They're not just going to throw them off and put them in some place, some places they don't want to be, or whatever it is. They believe they trust the front office. Like when we look at this Kawhi Leonard and DeMar DeRozan situation, and you look at DeMar DeRozan, he's hurt. He's upset because he believes that the front office told him one thing and they turned around and did another. And I think that's important when you're talking about free agents, because you're talking about their careers. When once they sign that contract, if they don't have a no trade clause, you can move them anywhere. So now they trust you. They're putting their trust in you. So I think that's important for the front office to send a message, to players around the league, to everyone, and say, you know what, we're going to do you right. You come here, we're going to do you right.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think you get subtle, the whole idea of the Knicks being a place that players wouldn't want to come to with Dolan and before with Phil Jackson. I think these little things do change the tide on that, right? Like obviously Fizdale, right? Like we know the players like him, but if especially their relationship with the agents, if it's like, okay, we both can kind of help each other out, let's do it in a constructive way. I think those little things help kind of change that culture around the team.
Yeah, I think so. It definitely helps to change the culture. And just to what do you think about the whole Carmelo Anthony situation? Because I was one of the people that thought, and maybe there weren't a lot of people out there that thought this. I know, people just wanted to be away from Melo or whatever it was, but I was like, and maybe OKC wouldn't even want it to negotiate with us. But I was like, you know what? There's $28 million. Let's find a way to make a trade where we can bring Melo in and then waive him. The same thing that Atlanta did. We don't have to keep him. We just want, the $28 million. I was surprised that maybe Scott Perry or Steve, I don't know, maybe they did put in a call and OKC just didn't want to deal with us. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue we had is there weren't those, I think, expiring. I guess like you there, and like Lance Thomas maybe because he's only got 1 million guaranteed next year. The point is, for Oklahoma City, it was very important that they're getting money off their books. So like, I know a lot of people are like, why not like Courtney Lee or like add some of these contracts, even a Tim Hardaway Jr. that we want to get rid of and get an expiring back. The problem is Oklahoma City, they didn't want any term. They didn't want any long-term, agreements. So like you would have to give back expirings to them.
right.
So I just think for the Knicks, it was kind of like, that's not what, I guess what is really the big gain that they're trying to, go for there. The gain would be we could get contracts off the books. Well, we don't gain anything by getting Cantor's contract off the books this season. It would only help us if they would have taken a contract that was on the books for next season. But like I said, that's not what Oklahoma City wanted.
Right. But I mean, but they did take back Schroeder. I mean, I guess he's someone who they feel is going to be able to participate over the few years. He's making what, $15 million a year for the next 3 years.
Yeah, 15. Yeah. I didn't see how many years he have left. Is it 3 years?
I think it's 3 years. Yeah.
I was gonna look that up. Yeah. No, I mean, I think the difference is, like I said, it's just about what type of player you're getting. I mean, I guess Hardaway is the best example of a younger player. But again, I actually think he has more value than just trying to get him for like, a salary dump essentially on our side.
Okay.
Okay,
you think so? I'm gonna open it up and take a call or two. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna look and see if there's anyone in the appearing app. I don't think I've seen anyone, but 516-405-2246. If you want to give me a call, give me a call. All right, and I'm gonna check and see if there's anyone in the appearing app. Then I know you guys got some ideas out there about the cap and how we should move with the cap. Talk to us a little bit. Let us know what you think. And if you have a question, if you're on the phone, ask me the question and I'll ask JB. If you get into the appearing app, then he'll be able to hear you. You can ask for yourself. All right. But
okay.
Just on Melo, one more thing on Melo. Do you think his career is done? You think Melo's done?
No, I think we're going to see him in some way, do something fun here. I'm excited to see the fact that he can now go and do what I think obviously he would have preferred to do last summer, and that is kind of pick his right spot, and go. So obviously he's not the player that he used to be, and he hasn't, his style of play and everything hasn't aged gracefully. And the Olympic Melo that we all wanted to see on the Knicks, where he's kind of more catch and shoot, even that Melo is not quite there anymore. But he's just too good to not, like I said, fine. I think if he's in the right winning team, we'll see something from him. Maybe it's just me rooting for it because I'm a Melo guy, but I think tempering the expectations, that's the key. It's like, he's not coming out here anymore and it's going to lead the team in scoring. That's just not what he is anymore. I mean, he could try to do that. I know he would take plenty of shots to try to get there, but
yeah, he would.
I just think give them like any player, give them the right role and they'll thrive. So hopefully he finds that this summer now.
Yeah, I hope so. I want to see him in Houston. I just think that it can work in Houston, especially with Chris Paul. I have always felt like Melo plays better when he has a strong-headed point guard with him, like Chris Paul, like Chauncey Billups. When he had Iverson, Iverson wasn't that type of, Iverson wasn't that type of point guard. Iverson wasn't the type of point like that strong-headed leader. So I think that a guy like Chris Paul will do Melo very, very well. So that's why I'd like to see him in Houston. We got some guys in the chat, and guys, I'm not gonna, we're not gonna be super long. I'm gonna give you a question or two for Knicks for JB, and then we'll we'll let you get your questions in. But before that, I'm going to pick up a phone call, see who's on the line. You're live with NBK. What's poppin', man? Who am I speaking with? I guess they ran off. I guess they're not here. All right. Well, if we get another call, we'll pick them up. So right now we got a few people in the chat with Knicks Film School. All right. I'm gonna start off with my man Isaiah. We'll keep it. We're gonna keep it traditional. Isaiah, JB, Isaiah usually is the very, very first person to call in. The last few times, he hasn't been able to be the first guy to call in, but we're going to keep it traditional. Isaiah, can you hear me?
Yo, Sim.
What's up, man? I can hear you.
There's a lot of noise.
I was wondering if that was just me. We're getting a little background.
Yeah, there might be one of the people in the chat might have some background noise going on. Everyone else can't hear it on the stream, can't hear it, but you can hear it.
Okay, all right. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. What's going on, guys?
So you should be good. So what's going on, Isaiah?
Not much, man. Hey, JB, man. I love your film school, man. I'm a big fan of it. Keep doing it.
All right, thanks, man.
You and Sim, something big, and I was there first. I'm your best friend. Don't forget that.
Man. Well, let's hope so. We'll remember you too.
Yeah, you're a little bit muffled. Hey, Isaiah, you're a little bit muffled, so I'm gonna, just make sure you're speaking close to the mic. All right.
What are we talking about, Sam?
We're just talking about the cat right now. That's the whole thing. That's this whole show. We're breaking down the cat.
Oh yeah, man. Knicks Film School, man. You be making me a mathematician, man, because I don't be knowing nothing. But I don't know nothing before that. But now, I'm hoping, man. I'm really hoping we don't stretch Noah. Hope we don't stretch Noah, and I hope we don't. Dang, man. It's really hard to hear, but
Yeah, no, I can hear you. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. We're waiting on you.
No, there's a lot of noise in the back. It's hard to talk.
Yeah, one of you guys have the sound going on in the background?
Yeah, one of you guys got the sound going on because
yeah, if you got the sound going on, please turn down your sound or put some earphones in. And that's what I do want to ask all the callers. When you guys call in or if you come in through appear in, we want everyone listening on the stream to be able to hear you. So please, try to have some earphones or something, so that you have a mic that's close to you so that everyone can hear you. You got to make sure you got your sound down. All right. Have your sound down so that we don't get background noise. All right. But yeah, we want everyone to hear what you got to say. So you got to be able to speak into your mics, clear so that everyone can hear you. If not, we get a lot of.
So yeah, like I was saying, hopefully, we can. The main thing I really hope happens is that we can get Tim and Courtney Lee off the book by next year, and hopefully we can be able to trade for Noah next year. I don't want to stretch him. I don't want $7.5 million in dead money for the next 5 years. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we don't. I'd rather we just, in worst case scenario, we just eat the 2 years. That's what we got to do. If that's the worst case we got to do, we just need to eat the 2 years. We don't need to have $7.5 million in dead money for the next 5 years. That's just ridiculous. And like I said, we get Courtney Lee off the books and Tim Hardaway. That'd be great. And we could try to get. I have a really good feeling that we're gonna definitely land somebody. We're gonna get somebody. I feel like.
You think so?
I don't want to.
Okay.
I gotta. This is
right.
This is one of the first feelings. This is one of the first time in my life. I'm 24 years old. I was born in '93, so I'm sorry to say my age, but I was born in '93. But this is the first time I had a feeling about we're gonna get somebody good, man, because we didn't gut the roster. We have young talent. We're in a prime position. Thanks to Carmelo Anthony trade, we got Mitchell Robinson. Like I said before.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I think we won it, and I believe we're in the right way. We just got to do a few more moves, and we got it.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you, Isaiah. I'm with you, JB, about waiving Joakim Noah. You know, I don't want to wave. Not waving them, but stretching them. You know, I'm not for it. I really don't want to stretch them. I just don't. I likened it to with some of the, you know, everyone in the chat. You know how, you know, you sign up for Netflix and you forget you got that $8.99 coming out every month.
I think you said that before. I think it just happened to you.
You know, and then
That's my gym. That's my gym membership.
That's your gym. Yeah, your gym membership. See, and Isaiah, based on the chicken that you was eating in the last show, you don't use the gym membership that much, right? You probably don't use the gym membership that much. So it's a great analogy. You got this $20 Planet Fitness gym membership, and it just keeps coming out every month. You're not going to the gym, and every month it comes out, and you get a $37 fee from your bank because you keep forgetting about this gym membership. That's what, you know, that's what, if we stretch Joakim Noah, I liken it to that, right? You just, every year for the next however many years, you got this $5 million or whatever it is that keeps hitting you in the head when you got some moves that you want to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah, meanwhile, he's just walking around barefoot.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing, Sim. I want to say one thing. I used to be almost 300 pounds, but I'm like 250.
Okay.
So don't try to play me.
All right, there you go.
Man.
Keep going. No. That's good, man. Definitely, that's good, man. Appreciate it. Hey, Isaiah, I'm gonna let you go and we can get somebody else in here. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Hey, you and KnicksFilmSchool, keep doing what y'all doing, man. God bless y'all, man. You're doing
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate
sir.
it, man. Peace. Yeah, definitely. That's how I am right now with about Joakim Noah too, man. I just don't want it to be. I'd rather just let it fall off. You know what I mean? You know, just keep them around.
Well, just to me, it's only if they, like, if we literally got to next summer and they were like, we tried to move, Lee didn't work or whatever, and it's like, this is the only way we can get cap space to sign one of these stars, then obviously, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, it literally has to be their guns to their head that this is the only way they could do it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you right there. That would be the way. That'd definitely be the way. All right. So who we got here? My man, I forgot your name, bro.
Nathan?
Not
Nathan.
Yeah. Nathan. Nate Dogg. There we go. What's up, Nate Dogg?
What's up, JB? How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. So kind of to piggyback on what y'all were talking about Noah, honestly, I think he could be a good asset on the team. I mean, he's a veteran. He could, Mitchell Robinson, you know, even Cantor could kind of learn from him, at least from the defensive standpoint. And he provides depth too, you know, because you never know. We're one big injury away from being in real big time trouble, especially at the center position. Because if not, you know, it's Mitchell Robinson or nobody else if Cantor goes down, you know. So I think Noah could come in and actually, you know, play about 15 minutes a game and actually maybe, you know, bring some hustle or bring some heart like he usually does, you know, in games.
Yeah, and
yeah,
you know,
I think so.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's the one thing with this team that we're missing. We don't have we don't have that heart or that we don't have that bruiser. I don't want to say heart. We don't have that bruiser out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no one ever questions Noah's work ethic. I mean, Noah brings it on the court. Whether, you know, he's probably the most untalented center out there, but man, he brings it every day, every night when he can. You know, and I really appreciate that about him. And you know, he's not worth the money that we're paying him, that's for sure. But hey, you know, he could definitely help out at least some of the young guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate your call. We got a couple people knocking. Let me see who it is. We got a couple people knocking to get in. Let's see who it is. We're gonna decide if we want to let these guys in or not. You know what I mean? If it's who's marked.
Well, I actually had a question for JB.
Okay.
Go ahead,
go ahead and hit your question, and then I'll see who's knocking at the door.
Sounds good. Hey JB, there's a lot of chatter about the Knicks maybe looking at Kyrie Irving. You know, when he becomes a free agent next year. My question is, we're going to give Cantor an extension. I just don't see how we don't do that. I'm sorry, not Cantor. Whoa, sorry. KP. Give KP an extension. So if we give a max deal to Kyrie, can we still add somebody of prominent status, or are we going to up.
Yeah, so that's where it depends if we can move other contracts, right? So basically it comes down to if they can move Tim Hardaway Jr.'s contract, then they can do a lot, right? But the problem is if you're not stretching Noah and if you're not moving Tim Hardaway Jr., just those two guys, and everyone, we all throw up when we think this, but it's like they're making nearly $40 million, just those two guys.
Yeah.
So It's like if you sign Kyrie, and then even with Porzingis, his cap hold is about 10 million first year number, so you can gain some space there. But like that's 17 million for KP and another like 32 million, I think is what it would be for Kyrie. So now you're starting to do the math. It's like, yeah, there's not much room left. So I guess to answer your question, you can only re-sign KP, sign one superstar, and then have room to do something else if you either stretch Noah or move Tim Hardaway Jr. Those are the two big contracts that would give you extra room to do something else.
Okay. All right. And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to it in a little bit. And so you'll probably end up repeating the same thing, but for people who join the stream later on, they'll look for that area. So we'll do it. I'm going to go ahead and take this call because this guy's been calling in, or the person, whoever it is, been calling in. You are live with Nothing But Knicks right now, so I'm going to ask you to turn that down in the back, please. Who am I speaking with?
You're Jerome. Hold on, let me turn that down.
Jerome? What's going on, Jerome? How you feeling, man?
What's going on? Feeling good, bro.
So I
called it the other day. And basically I was saying, talk about those trades. Because that's like crazy, you know what I mean? Because we already got contracts. We talk about the third. What I was saying, like, let's talk about what we got. We talk about contracts we trying to dunk. So, yeah, get them dudes out of here. Tim Hardaway, Noah, even possible. But I feel so optimistic that let's wait. You know what I mean? Get them out of here when we could get them out of here. I shouldn't say it like that because they always thinking I love the Knicks that we got, and I never love the Knicks we had, even Melo. But, you know what I mean? And I'm feeling real radical. How we do this year, we could be in the draft. We could be in a high draft. You know what I mean? So therefore, let's just wait and see what we got, and let's not think about no max contract.
So you're saying let's stop thinking about the max contracts, you're saying?
Yeah, because that's what we've been doing.
Okay.
That's what we've been doing, shooting out so many years. Like when we was good, what we do? We drafted 85. And built around that. Once we traded for Oakland, it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? We were contenders. Got John Starks,
Okay.
And that's not even my favorite Knicks team, but I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying. You saying let's be easy. Let's be easy right now.
Yeah, because the way our management is, the way they just finesse this draft, and then we got Mario. Don't leave Mario. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like let's just find it out.
Okay.
We gonna at least get Fitz this year.
Okay.
So gonna hold a spell.
But let me ask you this though.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask you this. You say let's just ride it out. You said let's just ride it out. But if you have cap space and there's a young player, a good young player that is available to you that you can sign, and you're not giving up your young guys, right? I mean, are you telling me that Enes Kanter is definitely going to be our center for the future? No.
I'm saying
he's not.
We probably won't even have him if you get rid of him next year. I don't mind. I'm not saying don't make no moves. And it don't be gun ho about it.
Okay. Okay. So you just want to take it easy. You want to take it easy, see what we got, and then
we did that with Derrick Rose. No, we've been doing that in the recent years.
Okay.
Let's just fall back and see what we got. The draft pick. We got Knox and start 10 out through the year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna have to play heavy minutes because we ain't got nobody. We think.
Yeah. All right. All right, Drew.
What we got is that. All right.
Yeah. Now I feel you. I hear you. I appreciate it. Hey, Jerome, I'm gonna let you go because I know we got some other people that want to get in.
I want to say before I go, I love what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, that's like I listen that come through, and you had everybody that come through before, and that's sweet. Like think of all y'all. Yeah, he said I was funny.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right, y'all.
All right, peace, man. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, so basically what Jerome was saying to us, is he wants us to take it easy. He don't want us to be in such a rush, to go out there and try to get, try to get these free agents and things. I mean, I get it, but I understand what he's saying, not to be in such a rush, not to, push it and be so desperate that we end up making a mistake. I definitely understand that. I want to give a shout out to Darcy Knicks for the super chat. Said Porter Jr. had lower back surgery again and is out indefinitely. Knicks made the right choice. Knox is the GOAT. Retire the damn jersey already. Wow.
That's bold.
Yeah, he hadn't even stepped on the garden floor yet.
Yeah, that's summer league reaction for you.
He's got all-star potential. I really do believe.
It could happen. It can happen.
I believe so. And then Elijah Moon, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate the super chat for real. Thank all you guys for the support. So we're gonna get back to our group here, and see what we're talking about. Nate Dogg, I'm gonna let you go, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, JB. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good one, man.
You too. Bye.
And I'm gonna get to my man with the Yankees hat, RJ, right? RJ, right?
Yeah. He got a little black and mild going there. What's he working on there?
Look like it. Hey, RJ, you gotta unmute yourself, RJ. There you go. There we go. What's going on with you, man? How you feel?
Yeah, it's all good, man. Yeah, it's funny, bro. I think the RJ come from my email. My name Ruben Santiago. You see me on the chat all the time.
Okay, yeah, Ruben.
Puerto Rican
Ruben.
name. Probably Puerto Rican. You know what it is. From New York, man. You know what it is.
Yeah.
First things first, y'all. Shout out to the chat. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like the joint.
Appreciate it.
Next things, I don't see my boy who's Mark. I figured he was gonna jump in. Peace out to Isaiah for what he had to say. I didn't hear the last guy who called in, but to take it easy, go easy. I'm not 100%. I think the time is now because we got KP. What we can't do is do not smart stuff,
right.
But we do gotta go now. I'm not with taking it easy personally. I don't think next year is our year, obviously, but I'm not with losing games. I think it's more important that some of the young cats show that they can win games and willing to step up now versus us trying to get a nice rookie who we can see what they can do next year. It's more important to me to win games as many as we can, and then worry about next year. Next year, I think we should go with whatever lineup that we have now and just rock with it. Now, as far as pulling in free agents, and another shout out, because your cap info be killing it. I'm always on your show too. What's your name, JB?
Yeah, JB. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, bro. I'm always peeping you out too. But the only way that I said this last time we was on, I feel like we need to pack some talent with a contract. And our only talent that we really can part with, everybody gonna kill me on the chat. I already know it. But it's frankly talent that we can.
No, I knew that was coming. Yeah.
We wouldn't be mad at losing Tim Hardaway if we could package Tim with Frankie. You know what I mean? Washington got a couple of players that they might want to, because they might not be pressed about cap space next year. We got to find people who are not trying to lose cap space next year to take Tim and maybe Frankie, because that opens up the space that we need for two. Otherwise, we got to sign KP and we got to sign one and we got to deal with what we got. We're gonna be too far under. So that's just my take on it. I'm sure our capologists kind of see it the same way, but I'm constantly looking at the salary stuff and all of that. I knew that Carmelo thing wasn't gonna work because of, just like you said, JB, we don't have the expiring contracts to send over there. And everybody else has spent their money. I'm surprised they took Dennis Schroeder, but I'm telling you, I think that's for a trade. They're going to try to trade Dennis Schroeder because he's more tradable than Carmelo is.
Yeah, that's it.
That's true. That's
true. You're right. You're right.
That's definitely true. He's definitely more tradable than Melo was. Yeah.
We could have did that, though. We could have gave them somebody more tradable. I just think that we didn't do it because it wasn't in Scott Perry's plans. I just really hope that we just do two things. You know what I mean? I know we ain't got a lot of time, so I'll go ahead and jump off. But two things, and that's we cannot let Noah's going to be a good contract next year because he's going to be expiring, as well as Courtney Leeds. All those contracts next year are going to be way more valuable next year. And we probably won't be able to get nobody but one person next year. We can get the second person, stretch Noah. We got to stretch him if we can get another max marquee player. But we're probably not going to be able to. So we just got to just live out the Noah and deal with that. So that's the first thing. And second thing is we got to keep in mind that we are going to get a marquee guard no matter what. If we got to let Frankie go to get him, we got to do that. But we got to get a marquee guard to play with KP. That's my take. I would love to hear what anybody has to say on that too.
Okay. I don't know if we have to give up Frank to get a marquee guard though. I think Frank would be really good next to one of those marquee guards.
I do too, Sam. I love his length, but what I don't think that we have is more talent to get off the book.
I think to your point, and I think people who follow me know I pump up Frank pretty good with his defense, right? But to your point, if you now have multiple young assets, so you got Knox, Mitchell Robinson, right, Frank, and you did get in a position where you felt like you said, you got to move a young guy to move a contract or whatever. You might get to that point where you say, look, I'd rather move Frank than, like before Frank was the only young asset we had. So you can't move him. But now when you have multiple guys, somewhere if you are a guy, you're going to have to cut loose, whether that's paying forward like a draft pick in like 2020 or something, or using someone like that. If I don't think it's insane to think that if you are, big game hunting this next offseason and you have a reason to be optimistic. See, this is what's so funny to me about the Knicks. I hope this obviously happens, but I think in like 5 years, we're going to look back and be like, how the hell did a team in New York City, Knicks, have a hard time ever getting free agents? Everyone's going to be complaining that, only the big market teams get these guys. Like, we should have an advantage getting these guys. It's just being a competent franchise for a little bit, so people want to come, and I think they're finally making the moves to do that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's my 2 cents.
Them damn New York City taxes.
They love the city though. Everybody who come to visit, they love the city. They love to play there. Yeah. It's one of the only cold weather places that you will be super happy to be.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
That's true about the only cold. That's right.
Yeah. So let me try to get one of these calls that's coming in. Ryan, I got Ryan on the line. What's popping with you, my brother? Can you hear me? Say that again.
Absolutely, I can hear you.
What's going on with you, man? How you feel?
I'm good.
Yeah. So what you hearing? What do you think right now? What you're hearing about the cap? Because we're gonna get in. We're gonna talk with Knicks Film School. We're gonna talk with JB about how we can clear 2 max contracts for 2019. That's what we're gonna do next. But from what you've heard so far, give me your point of view. What you think?
Well, here's my. Check this out. I just want to say this. I think a lot of people need to put the controller down and stop playing that 2K, and realize that you got to be careful who you put along.
Give me 1 second, Ryan. Give me 1 second. Guys that's in the definitely got to make sure we have the sound down in the back. When you guys get on to the appear.in, if you can have some headphones in so that you're listening to the chat in the background, You know, that way once I open up and let you guys in to appear in, you know, the sound doesn't come through over top. So, you know, if you guys can get some headphones or something so you can listen to it, that'll help us out. Yeah. All right. Okay. Go ahead, Ryan. I apologize about that.
No, you're good, Simeon. Thank you. All right, here's the thing. You got to be careful who you put along Frank Ntilikina. You know, this is not a video game. You can't have too many alphas in your team. So you have guys talking about bring Butler, bring Kyrie. You know, you already have, that's 2 alphas right there. You want to have Knox, who's going to be an alpha if he's already not one. You got KP, that's 4 alphas. There's too many ball dominant guys on your roster. Now, as far as the salary cap, you know, it's going to be tricky because, you know, the whole Noah contract is what kind of, you know, tricky. You know, we could say, I don't keep him on the team this year unless someone wants to take him, then, you know, I'll gladly trade him for a bag of peanuts. But if someone doesn't take him, then, you know, we could waive him next year. And I believe he will get paid somewhere around like 20 mil. But if we waive him, we could actually
no, guys in the chat, you won't hear the call. That's what it is.
We could even use that to sign someone. But the only downfall to that is we'll probably have, you know, it'll count another 10 million for the next year. But still, 10 million is 10 million. You could sign another free agent, you know. That's my idea, you know, and obviously trade either, you know, Tim Hardaway or Courtney Lee. I would honestly prefer to have he's more consistent. You know, I know what I'm going to get from him. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about that whole, you know, free agent, you know, the whole salary cap thing, you know, but it's very tricky. That whole Noah contract kind of screws us in a way.
Yeah, okay. The one thing you said, I think everybody knows my stance about Tim Hardaway, you know, and you know, I don't like his inconsistency. I have hope that Fizdale will be able to, you know, help him become more consistent, help him to take better shots, improve his shot selection, all those type of things, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, hey Ryan, I appreciate the call, man.
Thank you. You have a good one, Simeon.
You too, man. Peace. Have a good one.
You too.
Yeah. So basically, what he was saying, he was just kind of talking a little bit about trades, and you know how he like to move forward. He thinks we should get rid of Tim Hardaway. If he had to choose between the two of Tim Hardaway and Courtney Lee, he'd rather have Courtney Lee. So that was his stance on it. But JB, what I want to do now is I want to talk about 2019. How do we get those 2 max contracts?
Yeah. So were you actually going to throw that graphic up, or you just want me to talk it through?
Yeah, no, I got the graphic. I'm going to throw the graphic up on the screen.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm going to throw it up here.
When we get into all this crazy math, right?
And yeah, we can get into it. So let me pull this up here. All right. Pull this up on the screen. All right, so I got it up on the screen. I got the graphic up on the screen.
All right, cool. Yeah, so because I thought the best way to look at it was to say, when people say, do we have room for 2 max players? Well, you got to start with which guys are you keeping on your roster?
Right.
Technically, any team can move everyone and create cap space, right? But we know that KP is going to be on the roster. Otherwise, what's the freaking point? Obviously, Knox, Mitchell Robinson, and I'm assuming another lottery pick. And then I guess we could debate if Frank is in that group based on what we were talking about earlier, but I'm including him. So I'm basically saying if they keep all of their young players plus KP, they would be already, they would have spent about $68 million.
Okay.
No, they'd have about $68 million of space left.
Right? All right. So
the point is, because of that, they have 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 5 players on their roster. They'd have to have 7 more players, but they would only have about $3 million left if they want to maintain that double max space, which is $65 million. So if you scroll down in that graphic, now you're saying, okay, so how do we get for 2 max players? We have to look at this list of players that's remaining at the bottom here, and we have to somehow get rid of all those contracts without taking back more than $3 million and 2 max players. So I guess when people ask, oh, can they get 2 max players? The answer is yes, but it means you have to renounce all your free agents. That means you're not re-signing Cantor, you're not re-signing Moutier, not so on, right? Then you have to trade or stretch Noah, you have to trade Hardaway, and you got to trade Lee. And that, I guess, is the best way with all the nasty math I can explain it.
Yeah. So and so basically, that's a lot of movement that needs to happen in order to sign 2 max contracts. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to happen, right? You know,
I mean, I think it's realistic. Obviously, they can renounce all those players on the bottom. Right. That's just easy, right? It's really, can they move Noah, Hart, and even Lee, I think, is easier to move. It really, to me, comes down to Noah and Hardaway Jr. Can they move those contracts without taking back 2019 salary? And if they could do that, then they're there. To me, it really comes down to those 2 players.
Right. Now, and this is something that we were talking about in the last show. Another way to do it, because that rumor came out from whatever the guy's name is, from Legion Hoops, to say that the Knicks and Minnesota had preliminary talks about Jimmy Butler, right? I'm sure you've seen it all over Twitter and everything. Another way that I was thinking is if you made a trade, right? If you traded for someone who would have a max contract, then you could, like, for example, if you traded for Jimmy Butler, even though he'd be a free agent in 2019, you could go over the cap to sign Jimmy Butler and another guy.
Yeah. No, right. I think that's the more logical way, because like we just outlined, do by just creating space. So what you would hope is, I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a big one. Like, we need to hope he comes out this season just like guns blazing.
Right.
Because still a young dude who can shoot, which has currency in this league, right? So if I'm a team that is a team that's not going to attract a big time free agent, like I'm in a smaller market, and you said, okay, 2 years, $37 million for a 26-year-old who can shoot, I might trade for that, So I think Hardaway Jr. has value, and I think particularly if he comes out, like I said, just guns blazing this year, and then the point, like you said, maybe you use him to trade as one of your main salary matching pieces to trade for that star. Because he makes a lot of money, it can start to add up towards a player like a Jimmy Butler.
Right. And then, but in that trade, we wouldn't be able to trade Cantor, right? Trade.
Cantor's another one because he's got an expiring contract that he would help you match salaries, right? So you could do that. It just comes down to, and I saw someone ask in the chat, what it is if you trade for, let's just keep using Butler. If you trade for Butler, then you get his bird rights, meaning you can then go over the cap in the summer to re-sign him. That's the difference. Versus if you don't trade for him, you need to have the cap space to sign him.
Right. But now, because Cantor's contract, let's say we did trade for Butler and we used Cantor and Courtney Lee, let's say. Wouldn't that stop us from being able to sign another max free agent in 2019? Because we would have, the way I'm thinking is we would have to trade like Tim Hardaway and Courtney Lee so that Cantor could still come off the books in 2019 so that you have that $18 to $20 million freed up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the point is, since you're trading, I guess the thing, like we're saying, is we kind of forget that Porzingis is going to be one max player next summer.
Right.
So in some ways, when people say, can the Knicks sign 2 max players, you're really saying, can they sign 3? Because the first one is going to be Porzingis. And almost no team signs 3 max players, because that's like your, you know, a big chunk of your cap. So I think if they traded for a star, they'd be in the same situation if they didn't, saying it's going to take a lot to then sign another max player. But you could at least have some space. Like, you know, why not do that and try to have like 10 million in space or 15 million, so you can at least add like a useful piece. And hopefully if you have a team that's got 2 superstars and a good young core, sort of like we saw in a small scale this year of Hazonia, players say, oh, I'll take a little less to go there because it's in New York and they're going to win. Because, you know, what's going to happen is if the Knicks finally looks like they're going to win, I think things will turn really quick where it's like, wait a minute, I want to win. I want to be part of that team that wins. No one wants to come here and be part, but everyone will want to be part of that team that is the first team to win, because that's another level with the Knicks win. So I think you'll be once you get those first pieces in place.
Okay. All right. Great breakdown. And I'm sure that segment right there, there's going to be a lot of people that want to talk about that segment. So we got someone calling in. Let me get to this call here. All right. You're on live with Nothing But Knicks. Who am I speaking with? What's going on with you?
Oh, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Who am I speaking with?
Caught me off guard. I was listening to you at the same time. Couple things, man. Just real quick.
Well, who are you? Who are you, man?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Raw Hebrew Remnant.
Say that again.
Hebrew Remnant.
All right, nice to meet you, man. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, that's all right. Couple things. Just talking about trading Frank. Need to FOH real quick. Just get out of here, man, because that's off the table. You can't. You don't get 19-year-old guards that are elite like him.
Okay.
So you do, and he's going to be 20. That's a piece you don't trade for anybody unless LeBron's coming. You don't trade him. So that's off the table. That's part of what I call Nick-itis. That's all these people that all want to get good real fast. We got, really, we're just starting this rebuild last year. Even though we've been losing for a few years, we really just, with Mills and Perry, we really just starting about a year ago. And I think the Knicks have done a tremendous job to go this far in 1 year. So
I agree.
And it's just like I forgot the gentleman's name from film school. And by the way, I look at film school all the time. Do this type. But I will say this: if we could get, we have to get one. We realistically we get one max dude, one, and we pair that max guy with what we got. And I'm thinking that, because I think people sleeping on Frank. I think this dude is going to be, I'm telling you, I've been telling everybody, this is Gary Payton 2.0, man. I'm telling you. Okay. We just need to give him some time to develop. And then Hardaway, like, I hate his inconsistency and I hate his shot selection. He is just, oh my God, he's one of the best. But I'm thinking too, you got to also think, this is a guy that hasn't been under one coach, like, I don't think in his career for more than a year. So you got to give him a chance. I think with Fizdale, if we can get this guy's shot selection under control, I think he'll be a good 2-guard for us for the remainder of his contract. If we could stretch Noah and trade Courtney, and I think that's realistic. I think we could trade Courtney, and I think we could stretch Noah if we had to. We could get one max guy. And I don't know who that max guy is. I don't know if it's going to be Butler or Kyrie or whatever. But if we could get one max guy to pair with Porzingis, because I think people sleeping on him too, because I think he's going to come back strong. Yeah, Porzingis, he heals pretty quick. I mean, he's been in some pretty bad situations in his career. You've seen him, people land on him, people mess, and he come back pretty quick. So, I mean, I'm not taking that the fact that the ACL is anything light, but I'm thinking this guy's going to be ready in December. Only question is how long they want to play him to show the available free agents that he's the deal, and you need to come and join him and get hooked up, because we really got 2 lottery picks with Knox and Robinson. I mean, that's the real of it. We got 2 lottery picks. And the way that Robinson fell to us, to me, that's just like, almost like, I mean, I know it's going to sound weird, but it's like a sign of good things to come, because we never get luck like that, where we just get a dude fall to us like that and then somebody else is going to take her. So with those 2 guys, we got 2 lottery picks. And Trier, I mean, he's a gunner, but he's got potential. He looked like Tim Hardaway a little bit, I mean, in his game, but he's got potential, and we didn't even have to draft him. But the fact that they were just waiting for the draft to be over and signed him almost immediately, that's good, man. Yeah, so I'm thinking they're really on the right track. I'm really high on the Knicks right now. I mean, I've been a fan since '70, so I've gone back a while. Y'all was talking about Nas, man. Y'all forgot about KRS-One. Y'all just
man. I didn't forget about KRS-One. You know what I'm saying, man. But anyway, Nas is good. I'm not saying Nas is classic. There's no question about it. But KRS-One is the deal from back in the day. But I'm gonna let y'all go. But I'm just saying, man. I'm just thinking Knox and Mitchell Robinson. Give Mitchell Robinson 2 years. I hate that. I'm not trying to rush Knox, but the dude looks good enough to be ready in a year to be a key player. He might.
Yeah, in about a year. I think you give this cat 1 year, and I think he'll be a good player. I think he's gonna be he's in Tatum, and he'll be ready. I don't know if he'll be ready this year for that kind of thing, but I'm thinking a year, and then you give Mitchell Robinson a next year. Hey, man, with one max guy. And what you think about Kyrie? I mean, I know the guy wants to come here, and we don't get a lot of people that want to come here, but I don't know. His knees, man, he always hurt. I don't know. I mean, he's a gamer.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go because I know I got some other people that want to call in. I'm gonna let you go, and then all right.
Thanks, man.
All right, peace, man. Later. JB, he got on us, man. He got on us talking about Nas instead of talking about KRS-One. You know what I'm saying? He got on us a little bit. Hey,
I got respect for him too.
Yeah, I love KRS-One. KRS-One he's definitely one of my guys. I like Rakim much more than I like KRS-One. I'm a big Rakim fan as well. But I definitely love KRS-One. That's the teacher, man.
Yeah. Actually, I put something out on Rakim last weekend, I think it was. He was like, you don't see him perform much, and he was doing something for NPR of all random places. But it was just good seeing him doing his thing. Yeah,
I seen that. It was it was for the Luke Cage soundtrack.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
That was and he killed it as usual, man. He killed it as usual. Rakim. Oh, yeah. That's the God MC right there. That's the one and only. Even though I'm a Nas fan, and I put it on Twitter too, even though I'm a Nas fan, Hova, he isn't the God MC. Godson, Nas, he isn't the God MC. There's only one to me. That's Rakim. So that's my guy right there. Yeah, I really do like Rakim. So I'm gonna get to a couple of guys. I'm gonna get to Supreme Ali. He been sitting here for a minute. I know Tony Crow been sitting there for a minute, and Who's Mark looks bored. Who's Mark is bored right now. He can't wait to speak. And listen, JB, Who's Mark? He's gonna go in. He always goes in. Right now he's itching. But I'm gonna get to Supreme Ali because he's been real patient. Supreme Ali, man, what's popping with you, bro?
What's going on, Sim? What's up, JB?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on? I just had a question for y'all, for both of y'all and the chat. What is all the Tim Hardaway Jr. hate about?
What is the Tim Hardaway Jr. hate about? All right.
Yeah, Mark, I know you hate Tim, so
So, well, my thing is this. Let me answer that for you real quick. I don't hate Tim Hardaway Jr. I've never been a fan of Tim Hardaway Jr., but I don't hate Tim Hardaway Jr. You know what I mean? I just don't like his game. What'd you say?
But you don't like what about his game?
I don't like the two biggest things that I don't like about his game. One, I'll tell you what I do like about his game. Right? All right. I like that he wants it. I feel that he wants it. I think he really wants it, right? You see him on the court, he wants it bad. I think he wants it. He's not afraid to take the big shot. He's not afraid to be the scapegoat either, right? So if you're not afraid to take the big shot, you're not afraid to be the scapegoat. You got to have a guy like that, because a guy like that is going to hit big shots. And we've seen him hit some big shots. What I don't like about him is the basketball IQ. I don't think he has a really high basketball IQ. And the shot selection. Those are the two things that I really, and I think that his consistency, one of the callers, said that he would rather have Courtney Lee over Tim Hardaway because of the consistency. You got to consider the age there though, but I think his consistency really does relate to his shot selection, and his basketball IQ. You know what I mean? That I seen stretches where he really did, he was able to, have a good shot selection. He was able to, kind of maintain towards the end of the year, really too. I got to give it up to him. I really had to give it up to him because I thought
I remember he started off last season a little shaky, and then I feel like once November came around, he kind of found his groove for a while, and then he was balling, actually balling up until he got hurt.
Yeah, right.
Because
remember when he got hurt, there was this small period where everyone was waiting for him to come back. They're like, oh, when he comes back, they won't be able to double KP. Yeah. There was this small period everyone actually loved him, and then.
That's true. There was a time when people were like, when he comes back with KP, is going to be da da da. But I just feel like those two things hold him back from being what he could be: shot selection, basketball IQ.
I think with Fizz here, I want to see what he does in Fizz's system, because I think Hornacek didn't hold him accountable. Even if you listen to Hornacek's post game interviews last year, he would say "Oh, Tim, just keep shooting," and Tim would just kind of try to shoot himself out of slumps. And there would be games he go 4 for 19 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think with a coach like Fizz in the fold, he'll pull him out of a game when he's shooting, taking bad shots.
Okay.
And he'll sit him. Sort of like what happened to him inside Atlanta.
Okay.
But I will wait to see what Tim does this season with Fizz to pass judgment on what Tim is.
Okay. Hey, I can respect that, because I do want to see what Fizdale can do with Tim Hardaway Jr. How they can work together. If he can, kind of, reel him in a little bit, give him a little bit of discipline. I feel like Tim Hardaway is the kind of guy that you gotta give him discipline. I feel like he's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
You gotta give him discipline and reel him in sometimes when he starts. Tim Hardaway gets in his own head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes, he starts getting a little bratty, pouty a little bit sometimes. He gets in his own head, and it's hard for him to get out of his own head, which leads to long bad shooting streaks, I think. You know what I mean?
I think Tim at his peak I think he's at least a top level starting too. And by top level, I mean out of third. Hold up, Mark. Out of third, I knew he was gonna jump on that. No, but check this out. At Tim's peak, I think out of 30 starting shooting guards, he's at least a top 15 at his peak. So if he can, but I get that he can't play at that peak level. He hasn't played at that consistently. But if he can get someone that can get him there, I don't see what's the issue with having Tim in New York.
Okay. Let's see if he can get there. JB, what do you feel about Tim Hardaway? And then I'm gonna let Mark get his time.
Yeah. No, I think what it is the problem is, and he had it for a small stretch last year, but he's not so good when he's hot that you can live with those stretches where he's cold, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's I guess what it is, right? Because we, streaky shooters, you live with that. But that's where I'm hoping we see maybe different this year, where it's okay, he can just settle into being, a good player when he's not neither. But then he has these ridiculous hot streaks, and then he's going to be cold because he's a shooter. That's just how he is as a shooter. But to me, it's too much the extremes where it's a lot of times cold, and you're just
yeah,
he's out there, even on defense, because I'll look at that stuff, it's effort with him.
Yeah. On defense, it's effort because he definitely has the talent.
He
Clearly
can
has
do
the
it.
talent.
Right. He can do it.
He wasn't a defensive liability last year either.
No,
I
exactly.
mean,
right.
he played decent defense last year.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And just
I agree with you.
I want to give one more point too before I hop off here.
Okay.
As far as free agency next year, I think we should only go after one max contract player. And I think that player should be Kawhi Leonard. To be honest.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
You think it should be? Well, we can't hear Mark. We can't hear Mark. We don't know, what did Mark say? I'm gonna let him loose in a minute.
I can hear Mark in my ear, so
what did he say? What did Mark say?
Live. No, he said he's ready for this topic. He's ready for this topic.
Oh, yeah. You figure he is.
But I just want to say my piece. I think Kawhi. I think they said Kawhi Leonard spent a lot of time in New York last season, right, rehabbing. So he might be comfortable here. He's in the Eastern Conference now. He's on the East Coast, relatively now. He might get used to it over here, and might consider coming to New York, especially if our young guys show something this year.
Yeah.
I think all we honestly need is one max guy, right? Because why can't we count on our young guys becoming players that would command max money?
Well, I hear you. I hear you there.
I don't think that's that out of the question. Why can't Kevin Knox eventually be a guy that'd be like where he'll get max money in an offseason? True. But
he'll need some time, but still, it's
Okay. So Mark, I'm gonna open you up, Mark. What's up, Mark?
What up, man? Listen,
what's going on, man?
Just to piggyback on what he said about like allowing like Kevin Knox to, be one of those max guys. Like I said, if you go and get Kyrie, right, for 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, and then we end up getting Jimmy Butler for what, like 4 years? 4 years? People gotta understand something. Kevin Knox, Mitchell, and Frank, they need the 2 to 3 years of development. They ain't gonna be what people thinking in their brain what they're gonna be. So allowing them to develop behind Jimmy Butler, if we got Jimmy Butler or Kyrie, it's better for their development. So when time comes, they could be just inserted. Just look at Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he played with Kyrie in the beginning, so he learned a lot just by playing behind Kyrie. He learned a lot.
So Mark, if someone says something, hey Mark,
it's not like he's KD where he comes straight in.
Hey Mark, if someone says something, because I got everyone else muted, so there's not a whole bunch of noise, you gotta let us know what they said. All right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not like Kevin Knox is like KD or something where, you see it. Like he's going to be a star. Kevin Knox had 2-3 years because he has to learn to develop a lot of things that Kevin Durant did earlier about dribbling the ball, learning pick and roll, learning to pass the ball, learning to be consistent at the rim, because that's his problem. He's not good at the rim. He's not good finishing at the rim yet. He still has to learn that. So it's going to take him.
It's going to take. Go ahead. It's going to take what?
Yeah, because number one, it's going to take him 2 years because he's only 18 years old. He's only 18 years old. So 2-3 years, because it's like, look at KP. Like I said, KP's ahead of his time.
But what superstar developed behind somebody? Name one superstar in the league that developed behind someone.
Look at Paul George when he was playing with Danny Granger. Perfect example. And it took Paul George 2-3 years, even his 4th year, to come out.
Okay.
But for the most part, superstars become superstars because they have that in them and they had the chance to play.
Okay, Giannis took 4 years. Anthony Davis took 4 years.
They took 4 years playing, though. They were playing.
No, he was not. No, he was not. Anthony Davis was not ready to go. It took him a while to learn the offensive side of the game, because when he came out of college, he wasn't that type of he wasn't offensively polished yet. He was defensively good, but it took him his 4th year to actually break out. It took those players actually 4 years. Kevin Knox is going to take at least 2 to 3 years to actually break out, because it's not, like I said, it's not like it's KD. When let me speak on the Kawhi. Let me speak on the Kawhi thing.
All right, and then after that we're gonna move on because I have a question. We got a question from the chat that I want to get to. So
like
make this one quick.
Kawhi now is kind of iffy because him being in Toronto right now, and that GM that he has, he's very tricky. I think he's gonna get Kawhi to stay. Like for some odd reason, I feel like he's gonna get Kawhi to stay because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Number one, the way Kawhi wants to play the game is just like Kyrie and Durant. They don't like all that hoopla, like all that extra shit off the court, that LeBron James gets. They don't. They even for his caliber, he doesn't like that. So him being in Toronto, he won't get a lot of that attention. He won't get a lot of attention. Kyrie they don't like that crazy attention that LeBron gets. So him being in Toronto is like a big decoy for him. And like they were saying today, he's warming up to being in a Toronto jersey. But like I said, huh?
All right. Well, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let you guys talk about Kawhi Leonard, right? Because we don't want to keep talking about Kawhi Leonard. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Kawhi Leonard is coming to the Knicks. You know, I want to get to this question for with JB. JB, we got a super chat. CP the artist, thank you for the super chat. He asked, "Is KP worth a max contract?"
Is KP worth a max contract?
Yeah. Is he a max player?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, before we even say about KP, I think we all know now with the salary cap, like a max player doesn't have like one definition, right? So like obviously LeBron player, right? But like he's worth a lot more than that. So I think what happens is people see a guy like, you know, I'll just use LeBron in the extreme on a max contract or a Durant and say, well, is KP one of those two guys? No. But he still is worth some amount of money that's probably beyond what that salary cap max is. So that's why he ends out getting a max. Like you're not going to risk losing him because you don't want to pay him that max amount when he is such a unique player. Like I think that's the other key thing too. It's like this isn't like some guy like, you know, that it's easy to replace. You know, so anyways, I think the answer is yes, but I'll at least acknowledge that idea of there are obviously max players that are better than KP, but it doesn't mean like he's not a max player. Like if you don't give him the max, what's the whole point?
Okay. And obviously we don't extend him this year, right? We don't extend him this year. We wait until next year.
No, they're not going to do it this year because they want that extra cap space with because the way it works is there's just a set formula on what's called a cap hold is before you re-sign him. So his would be 17 million next summer. If they re-sign him, if they give him the extension right now, he would already be on the books for like 27 or 28 million. So they would lose 10 million in cap space that they need. So I think.
Okay. All right. And so there you go. So there you got a CP the artist. And I know CP the artist, he's in the chat. I know CP the artist probably feels a little bit differently. And I didn't get a chance. I think Knicks Fan TV jumped out of the chat and wanted to give a shout out to Knicks Fan TV for jumping in, saying what's up to us. So, you know, you guys see Knicks Fan TV around, let him know I gave him a shout out, or hopefully he's still listening, maybe still listening in and whatnot. But there you have it, CP the artist. You know, I think you've asked the last two guests that question. I think you got the same answer with the last two guests. You know, but I know CP the artist doesn't feel right now he's worth a max contract. And, you know, we'll see what happens when he comes back from the injury. I, for one, I think he's going to come back. I think he'll do well when he comes back. I still, you know, as everybody calls me a KP hater, I'm not a KP hater. But, you know, there's just some things I want to see him get stronger, get a little tougher. You know.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair to say he's coming off a major injury. You want to make sure like he's not literally broke. But I think we're answering the question assuming that, you know, he's young enough, he's going to recover and be fine. But, you know, obviously if he comes back next year and then like say had another injury or something, like, okay, yeah, that's different.
Yeah. All right, let me get to a call. Let's see who we got on the line. You are live, caller. You are live with nothing but Knicks. What's popping with you, man? or lady.
What's going on, guys?
How you feeling?
No. It's just me. B-lady's calling you now. So this is Nick from Jersey.
From Jersey. What's going on? You said Nick? Nick from Jersey?
Thumbs of Shaolin. Yeah, exactly. Nick from New Jersey.
So what's popping with you, man?
Yeah, so I just want to make a couple comments, hear what you guys have. First of all, let's just be careful of the summer league, right? I mean, I thought Knox, Robinson both played really well.
Right.
He was also the MVP of a summer league, right? So let's not get too excited.
But the thing with Draymond is he's as viable as a max player is to the Warriors.
One or two max
not saying he's a max
19.
player, but he's as valuable
it
as
just
a max
kind of
player
seems
is.
that what we're implying is that the Knicks are one or two max players from contending for a championship. And I just don't think basketball really works that way. The Knicks are a mess of a franchise, and they have been for the last 20 years, ever since Dolan came in. But the Knicks don't have a culture. Games. So I don't think you go out and all of a sudden get one or two max stars and then all of a sudden you win. I think that and the players up for to fail. And then, keep going. So now you're going to go out, you're going to pay these, and now you have no flexibility. You don't have your young players that are really developed yet, and you have the potential, as the Knicks have always historically done in free agency, to get themselves bad contracts.
Okay.
To win, you need a good culture and you need good contracts.
I agree.
So if they just go out and make a agency like they did last time when Donnie Walsh came and he, did all these crazy moves at the end just to get cap space, then they're going to go into free agency and be like, oh my God, we have to get a couple good players, or else players. And then they're going to maybe not get the right player that is going to fit in this culture that they want, or get the right pieces, the right influences to complement a Knox or a Robinson or a
Okay.
How Porzingis is going to come back next year, right? I mean, what if he's 85% of the player that he was? So that's a question. I just don't think that one of the callers came in. We should kind of play cool. And, I heard something on like ESPN that maybe players were going to start taking, shorter contracts. Maybe they just kind of don't swing for the fence, try to hit a couple singles and doubles over the next couple of years, develop their talent, acquire new young talent, and develop a culture of winning.
Okay.
Smart organizational moves. So that's what I got to say. So
all right. So basically, you want to develop that culture, and then bring people into that culture, because you're afraid if you don't develop that culture, when you start to bring people in, that's when things start to get disrupted. I get it. I get that.
I mean, look at San Antonio. Look at all the good franchises. They don't go out home runs in free agency. They have a culture. They have players who fit a specific role, and they have good contracts.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I appreciate your call. Very good points. Very good points. I appreciate your call. Hopefully you call back.
Doing this. This is my first time watching this, so it's been informative. So
thank you. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you come back, or hopefully you enjoy it.
Yeah, man. Take care. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. All right. So in the chat, what I'm gonna do in the chat, in the video chat, I'm gonna let Ruben, Supreme Ali, and Who's Mark go for a minute, so we can get some fresh blood in here. All right, I appreciate you guys, but this is what I'm gonna do. Before I let you guys go, I'm gonna give you 1 minute to go ahead and get your last rocks off. All right, and then I'm gonna let you guys rock on up out of here as we move on with the show. All right, so I'm gonna start with Supreme Ali. Supreme Ali, you on the clock, bro.
I know Mark is gonna hate this. I know he's gonna hate this. I want to stay away from Kyrie in free agency.
All right, go ahead.
And Kyrie's personally my favorite point guard in the league. I just don't trust his knees holding up. He broke down this past season before the playoffs. I just can't trust paying Kyrie max money. I can't do it.
All right.
but I can't trust it. But that's my last thing. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Sim. Shout out to JB. Knicks Film School.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Shout
out to y'all.
Peace. Removed. All right, let's see who we got next. Ruben, I'll bring you up next, my man. Let me unmute you. All right.
So you're gonna bring me up next. All right.
Got you up next, my brother.
Ali, I don't know who we got to get somebody. You know what I mean? I brought up Kimba to who's Mark, but he don't like Kimba for the money the same way we don't like Tim for the money. I like Kimba as a player. I like his tenacity, but I just think that we need to get a marquee point guard out here. So beyond all that, I really don't care whether or not Tim Hardaway is on our bench or Frankie Smoke's on our bench. I think that those are the only two assets that we have to get rid of that can probably bring back something or to get something off our books. But only way we can get two players next year is if we get rid of Tim Hardaway. We got to keep Canner. We're going to need to keep Noah anyway. Probably going to be a valuable contract next year. So please just keep in mind, Ali, I know you ain't on no more, but we got to get somebody. That's my plan.
Okay. All right, Ruben, I appreciate it. I know you'll be back. Have a good one, man. Peace.
Jack, like it.
No doubt. Y'all heard that. Removed. He's gone. Now, we got who's Mark? Who's Mark? Let me get you. There you go, who's Mark. You got it?
Yeah, let me elaborate.
What'd you say?
Let me elaborate on something.
Hey, you got 1 minute, man. 1 minute.
If we don't get nobody in the next 2 years, then who do we get? We are missing a point guard. We need a point guard. We in depth for a point guard, and Kyrie's the only one available. Everyone else is in locked deals, from Westbrook to John Wall and et cetera, et cetera. Kemba Walker, he is too small. He's going to demand a max, and I'm not paying him $140-something odd million. No. Teams don't fear him like people fear Kyrie. Okay?
Okay.
So I don't know what you people are thinking in this chat. I don't understand. Stephen Curry has injuries. And look at him. He's the three-time winner, and he got KD to play with him.
Got a point.
If we land Kyrie, we can land another big fish. That is the main point. People are going to want to play with Kyrie because he's the most dangerous man on the court.
All right. So
you see what he does to Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
Even Kevin Durant said it out his own mouth on the podcast. We cannot guard him. You need a player like that. He's efficient in the playoffs. He gets better in the playoffs.
All right.
And he can handle what New York could deliver to us.
He can handle
compared to other little point guards. That's what people are not understanding. This is the jungle. You have to be able to weather the storm here. Or else you would be a broken glass. And then we would hate you. And then we would regret giving Kemba Walker $140-something million for his little point guard ass. But I'm going, man.
All right, man. All right, Mark. Let me get you out of here for your stress. For your stress, he's gone. Let me get Mark out of there. Really stress starts picking up. So we got somebody new, but I want to get Knicks Film School back up. Get JB back up on. JB, just want to ask you. So what do you think as we're moving forward? Do you think there's going to be any trades before we start the season? Any trades? You think Courtney Lee's going to be here?
I think we thought that there would be when they were over the roster limit, right? But now, I don't know. I think at this point you see teams will make moves before the season when they have to make their roster fit, right? Or they, and I know, I guess with Courtney Lee, you could argue, okay, maybe because of the wings we have, there's just not as much space for him. But I'm just not sure of other teams that are looking to add him at this point versus like you get to the trade deadline and you have to pay him a little bit less money even for that half a year. And you know exactly what you might need. A team might have an injury. A team that didn't think it was competing is now competing, or a team that made another move. I just kind of like waiting and seeing, and then like leveraging that point to maybe get more value. Where right now, like a lot of teams are kind of in their position of, okay, we did what we did over the offseason. This is how our roster looks. The trade deadline, teams get a little more desperate because, like I said, something might have came up that makes them desperate. So I just think it's a little better to wait at this point.
Okay, just a little. All right, and yeah, and that's the one thing that I don't want us to do anything. We're not desperate. There's nothing for us to be desperate for or about, right? So I don't want us to do anything that looks desperate. I don't mind. At some point, you got to make a move, right? You got to bring in talent. I don't care what coach you are, what team you are. You got to win with talent. At some point, you got to bring it in. You want to see what you have, see if your young guys can develop to be, what you hope they can be. But at some point, you got to bring in, if you don't have the talent, you got to bring in the talent. I just don't want to do it in a desperate manner, right? Where we feel like, where we make some crazy move. You know what I mean?
And even like the awkward roster fits. It's like, you don't want to impact the young players' playing time, right? But you're also realizing they are 18; they're not going to play 40 minutes a night. But I guess again, I wouldn't make a move that's not as favorable as it could be, just because you're worried that a couple guys play the same position for a season like this.
Exactly. All right. How we doing on time, JB? I know.
I'm good.
You good? Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. All right, got another call. Let me take this call here. You are. Oh, here we go. You're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's poppin', man? How you feeling?
Hi, Sam.
Hey, how you doing?
This is Knicks from.
Oh yeah, Knicks. How you doing? It's been a couple of shows.
Right. I've watched every single one of them though.
Okay, good. We're glad. So, how you feel? I know you've been listening. We've been talking about the cap. We've been talking about making moves and bringing in free agents. What's your take on all of it?
Well, I want to say three things. I want to give a suggestion. I think you should do a hip hop show.
A hip hop, you know what? Yeah, I would. I'm definitely down to do a hip hop show. I've actually discussed it with a couple of my friends. I'm definitely down to do it. Yeah, and I might even have to get JB in on it.
Oh, hey, more the merrier, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing I wanted to mention. Did you hear Knox? He made the NBA Summer League first team.
Yeah.
But Mitchell didn't.
Yeah, I did see that. Yep. And you know what? I even seen a graphic on ESPN where they named the top centers in the Summer League, and Mitchell Robinson wasn't mentioned as one of those top centers. I'm sure Knicks Film School's probably seen the same graphic. It was on Twitter.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that.
That leads me up to my next question. I'm curious, who does JB want as like a max player next year? Like, who is he interested in?
Okay, so she's asking you, JB, who are you interested in as a max free agent next year?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like I was pausing because it's like, do I just say the obvious? But I mean, we're in that tough spot where if you say someone like Kevin Durant, right, you said it's like, this is crazy talk. Like, why are we talking about this? This is a Knicks. They're not going to get someone like that, right? But I mean, I don't know. Like, I think they're in a position they have to at least, try. But I think any of that list of whether it's, Durant, even if it was a Kawhi, I'm fine with Kyrie if you're not getting one of those top guys. I guess those three. I'm not as big on Jimmy Butler. I used to be more so than I am now. But I guess I would have to see what the rest of the team looks like around him. But I don't like his fit on this team as much as those other guys.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm not sure, Knicks if you were able to hear him, if you're listening.
No, I
in the
didn't, because
background.
I didn't want to turn on my volume.
Yeah, so he said, of course you got your obvious guys like Kevin Durant, in those guys. He's not as high on Jimmy Butler, but Kyrie, Durant, Kawhi Leonard, he'd be interested in those guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
What about you? Who are you interested in?
I kind of want like Lillard or Kyrie. I don't know about Butler. I'm not too sold on him. KD, I think that's a long shot.
Okay.
But I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of feel they're all kind of long shots. I mean, I just don't see it happening. I mean, it would be great if it did, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, and if we have a bad experience with that, so it kind of makes me nervous.
Right.
Where we sign people like Noah, and
Yeah, and well, my only thing is I feel more comfortable with Scott Perry, especially after the moves that we have made in the draft. Right. I was, obviously I questioned the whole thing with Troy Williams, but I'm sure there's a reasoning behind it. So I feel comfortable with those guys making the decisions. I don't think they're going to do anything that hurts us. I think they'll make the right move. So I'm interested to see how free agency works out. But yeah, I think we can trust those guys. What do you think?
I had this discussion with my ex-boyfriend, and he's from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about he won't be a fan. Well, he was a Knicks fan, but he won't be a fan until Dolan leaves. And I was like saying, well, don't come back, like if we start winning games over there in Brooklyn and, root for the Nets. And well, anyway, it just made me think, oh God, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, well, well, you told him the right thing. You know what I'm saying? If if he can't be a fan throughout, then he might as well go ahead and be a fan and support the Nets. Then
exactly.
Yeah.
But he's not a Nets fan, but it's like the banner, like stay away. If you're not gonna suffer with us, then don't.
That's it, for real.
Don't come
Exactly.
on board.
Yeah. All right. Knicks Knack, I thank you for the call.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And tell the chat I'm not a woman.
So say that one more time.
I said tell the chat I'm not a little boy. I'm a woman.
Okay, I think they heard you loud and clear.
Okay.
I'll
good.
repeat it for you though. All right.
Okay, Sim. I'll wait for a Sunday show.
Yep, Sunday show. I'll be on.
Here till then.
All right.
Bye,
Talk to you
chat.
then.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.
Bye.
You heard her, chat. She said she's not a little boy. She's a woman. Get it straight. Get it straight. Don't come at her that way. All right. Don't come at her that way. So, so you don't see us doing much. You don't see us doing anything from now until, probably until maybe the trade deadline. Then we probably stand pat unless something just really comes up. Huh?
Yeah, unless, like I said, the Noah situation. I could see that being I don't think it's impossible they would do like a Trevor Booker type signing and a Noah buyout. I think that's possible.
Okay.
I don't see any like big trade necessarily happening.
Yeah. Okay. So what do we have going on in the NBA right now? Obviously, we know the whole thing with Kawhi Leonard. We know the whole thing. Everything that happened with DeMar DeRozan. Or how DeMar DeRozan feels. Anything else interesting going on in the NBA? That you know about, or anything interesting that you see that could affect the Knicks that's happening in the NBA right now?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess the big thing this week was obviously the Kawhi trade, and I think people are looking at that and saying he went somewhere that isn't a place that we know he wants to be. So because of that, it does create. I do think it's true. Like, so if he had gone, for instance, to the Lakers, I think then that's it. It's over. It's done. That's where he's probably going to re-sign. So now you could argue, since he's in Toronto, that it's another player that isn't 100% guaranteed yet that where he's going to go next summer. So I guess you could throw that in there. But yeah, I guess other news that impacts the Knicks. I mean, even I guess Boston with Marcus Smart, because they have contract decisions to make in terms of how they fit everyone under their cap. So I think, the fact that they sign him, and I guess a lot of people were thinking maybe that someone else would throw an offer sheet at him to make it more difficult for Boston. But yeah, what are you thinking with some of those moves? Were you kind of thinking about it in the Knicks terms too, or were you?
I was looking at some of them and thinking about them in the terms of the Knicks, and just trying to think, how does it impact the Knicks? With Kawhi Leonard, I think the way that I'm waiting to see with Kawhi Leonard, how does he respond? Does he play or not? Because because to me. And we had this talk a long time ago about Kawhi Leonard. It goes. I'd be afraid if I'm Scott Perry. He doesn't play this year. He takes another year off. I'd be nervous. One, I'd have questions about is it the injury or were you just being stubborn? And if you're being either way, to me, it doesn't bode well, right? It's not good news because if it's the injury. Yeah.
You can't sit out, especially a team that arguably he could win the Eastern Conference with that team.
Exactly.
So you cannot sit out again. I mean, you just can't.
You can't do it. And if he does, he'll be getting a DeMarcus Cousins type contract probably. Something like that. So I don't see him sitting out. But it definitely affects the Knicks because they're in the Atlantic Division, and if he sticks around, that's one more team that you for the next couple of years you've got to fight through. If he doesn't stick around and they go into a rebuilding phase, well then now there's one less team possibly that you have to fight through. That's going to be a playoff team within your own division, and if he's going to be a free agent, he has spent a lot of time in New York. I'm not putting it past that he would consider New York. I'm not saying that we need to go right out and grab him, but I'm not putting it past that he would consider New York as a destination.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna let my man.
What we're learning with the NBA news is whatever crazy shit you think can't happen, it might actually.
Exactly. It might really happen. Definitely.
So to me, it's like you can't rule anything out, but yeah.
Nothing. Right. Tony Crow, my man Tony Crow, been trying to get on for a long time, man. Been trying to get in. He been in, been out. What's going on with you, man? Can you hear me at all? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
All right. Your Blackest Time.
For sure.
Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Knicks Film School. I'm a fan.
Yeah, all right. What's up, man?
What was I going to... Well, you actually kind of touched up on what I was going to ask you, and basically what you felt about holding out for Kevin Durant, whether he opts out this summer or next. I think if they don't win the championship, I think he'll opt out. I think if they win the championship, they're gonna go for 4 in a row, because that done in a while. But I would make sure that I have the cap space. Like, who was the guest last week? I think he said the same thing. Make sure I have cap space whenever he's available.
Yeah.
Just right. Yeah.
Go from there.
Right. Just make sure it's there.
Ask Knicks Film School how he felt about Trey Burks, long term and short term.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about Burke because he's another guy like, with this front office, we're used to, the bad signings, right? And it's like, here's a guy that was like low cost, and obviously he came out to play, last year, and it seems like he's working hard, like in the off season. All these guys post all this stuff on social media, and you never know what's real and what's not, right? But I like his game because I think while everyone's getting away from those mid-range jumpers and whatnot, it's like you still need a guy who can go around screen, they give you a little space, and he's going to make you pay for it and knock down the shot. And that changes the way you might have to come up a step on him, because if he's making it every night, we saw against Charlotte last year, he had 42 points or something. Like, you can't just let a guy go off. And so I just like the fact, especially this year, like I think Frank will obviously play more than he did last year, but I don't think it's a problem if Trey Burke also still gets, the start to begin with while Frank is like developing the right way. And then the fact that we can re-sign him where his cap hold isn't even that much. Like, so I guess I'm excited about him. I'm not saying he's going to be like this hidden all-star, but like he's definitely does enough for you offensively that, you want him on your roster right now.
Yeah, especially.
And what do you think about defense?
I mean, I saw points last year.
I think he tries hard. I just think he's small.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, he is limited, especially in the way the league is now, right? Like if he gets switched on to someone or something. But yeah, I saw points last year. He held his own. Like it wasn't such an issue where you're like, oh my God, Trey Burke is out there on defense and it's a major problem. But when you compare him to when Frank's out there, you might see a big gap, so that's the other way to look at it too. It's like, what are we comparing him to? When Frank's on the floor, it's a whole different story. So I think that's part of it too. But yeah, he's obviously not a good defender, but I think if he, like any of these guys, if they buy into what the scheme is and they give effort, they can be good enough that his offense will make it where you're not, it's not a problem at his defense.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Tony, you had something else?
I actually did. What was it?
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank now. Oh, fellow Nas fan.
Yeah, for sure. Just
give him the whole Yo Black This Time breakdown.
There it is.
I don't know if he's familiar with it.
I don't know if he is. I don't know if I don't know if we talked about it.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about that. I recognize the reference, but I didn't hear like where it came, when you started incorporating it here.
Yeah. So when I first started doing videos, I would use the New York State of Mind beat in the intro, right?
Okay.
And so then every time, before I was doing just pre-recorded intros, and every time I would come on, every time I would put out a video, Tony would be the first one in there, and he said, "Yo, Black, it's time." Because, in the beginning of that New York State of Mind song,
you get through. That was like because that was back, like you listen to the cassette, right? And it's like you actually would listen to, what was it, Genesis, right? Is the intro.
Yeah.
And I just liked it because it's like the train's going in the background and you're just like, you get ready, right?
Right.
It was almost like you had your window open.
Yeah.
I mean, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was like,
yeah, so he would always come in and say, "Yo, Black, it's time," and it just became that just became my thing. You know what I mean?
That's it. I like that.
Came the thing in the chat. Yeah. So yeah, Tony, stay on in there. I'm gonna get to Vivek down here.
All right, thanks, Tony.
Vivek, what's poppin', man? How you feeling?
Hey, Sim, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
First, a shout out to Knicks, JB, and the chat. And if you don't mind, I want my 15 seconds on Nas too.
All right, get your 15 seconds on Nas for sure.
There's two memories that stand out. One was I think I remember hearing the sample for "Hate Me Now" back when they did the Madden commercial. I think the Madden like 2000 or 2001. That was, I think, my first. I got into that's when I first got into Nas then, and then ever since then I kind of listened to everything back from before, and then since then. Second story is I ran into him in Newark Airport a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Okay.
He was flying out somewhere. I think overseas. I remember seeing a big Escalade. And there was his manager and him. He was going on tour or something. But anyways, back to the Knicks and other stuff.
Did you get a chance to talk to him though?
No. This was I was in family, so I was gonna say, "Yo, Nas, I was like, I didn't want to make it too awkward there.
Yeah. He might not be the dude you want to run up to. I read this story about, I forgot the DJ's name, but the DJ, he was trying to get his name big or whatever, right? And Nas was, I don't know, maybe it was his second, third album, whatever. and he seen him, and he ran up to him with his hand in his pocket like this. Said, yo, Nas, I got something for you, right? Yeah. And he said, Nas turned around with a gun.
Yeah, right.
Holding a gun to his face, said, what you got for me? He was like, yo, no, it's just a mixtape. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it might have been a good idea. He didn't just run up to him crazy, you know?
Have you heard it? He's been a crazy investor now.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. That's
he's
up,
into
man.
a lot of stuff now, yeah.
Maybe he can like pitch in some money, he'll like invest in, one of our, the next school or something,
Yeah, do that, because we on a rise, yeah. All right, so what you talking next, man? What's up?
Well, I had a couple of things I wanted to mention. I think everyone else kind of really got through like the main points I was going to talk about. One, I just want to mention a quick idea to JB real quick about, Tim Hardaway Jr. idea. It's been floating around on Twitter the last couple of weeks. Do you really think the Kings would bait on, if you're just absorbing the Tim Hardaway Jr.? Because if they were willing to give $78 million to Levine.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, that's definitely, I think, a logic people are having. I mean, I keep coming back to, if you get even, say, to the trade deadline this year, and then he's got 2 years and like $38 million left, that is not a bad contract for 26, well, I guess he'd then be 27-year-old guy who can shoot and score, like, especially when you're one of those markets, it's not like they're saving cap space. Like, who are they going to sign, right? Like, so you're either going to get to the summer with a bunch of cap space and sign someone who's probably just the same level of player, but they're going to want a 4-year deal. So I think it's definitely possible that some of these teams who have cap space, meaning not the big teams, but the teams that have cap space because they probably don't have players won't sign there.
Right.
To me, like, why not look at a guy like that? Because, again, it's only 2 more years after this year. So I think that's a favorable thing. That's what I'd be selling if I was the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. I was just thinking maybe the Kings they're willing to take the bait. Might as well see what they say.
Yeah, throw it out there. And then obviously Perry's got the relationship with them in their past. He had to wait like 1 year where they couldn't do a trade, and they're past that now.
That expired this week, right?
Yeah, this week. They're past that. So he's obviously got the contacts, so, maybe.
Yeah, I have 2 things, but one big thing. Regarding the cap holds, right? The cap hold for Porzingis was, I think, 250%? 250% because his salary this year is higher than the average salary. How does it work for the cap hold?
Yeah. So they actually just changed it with the last, I think it used to be 250%, but then the new CBA, it changed it to 300, but that's how it works. If his salary is below league average, you have to take that salary and times it by 3, and that's his cap hold.
Oh, okay.
And the fact that he will be coming off his rookie contract as a bird free agent. All those things have to happen.
So, in the sense of the Knicks, if they have the expiring deal, so technically they're at or above the cap right now. So do they still have to multiply KP's number by 300%?
Yeah, that's next summer, right? So that's why that 17 million just sticks there and counts in salary. So when you're calculating out their cap space, you have to include that number for next summer.
That's the same thing with the Nets in a sense too, because everyone's saying, they got the two spots, but then once you factor in the cap holds for Russell and
yeah, but they could that might be someone they decide to renounce if they're getting someone big. Obviously, we're not going to renounce, because the whole idea is if you renounce them, then you can't go over to cap to re-sign them. So KP, they're not going to renounce them because they're going to want to go over to cap to re-sign them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The 2 other quick points. One, with regards to Burke, I noticed at the end of last year that he shot a lot of long twos. And usually when you shoot a lot of long twos, especially at high percentage, you're going to have a regression to the mean. Do you think that he'll have a 3-point shot that will kind of offset that regression?
Yeah, well, we were actually just talking about that a little bit, maybe right before you joined. But I think it is true as a team, and the Knicks did this as a team. If you shoot long twos as a team, that's not the way to go about things. But I don't think that means you can't be a particular player who happens to have that part in your game. And what I keep coming back to is, as a point guard like him, it's like, to me, he should be facilitating offense where he's coming out of pick and roll, and then he's driving and kicking out to our shooters, right? But if he's coming off the pick and then, you know, the big is Swit is like holding back a couple steps, right, to contain the drive, and he's giving them that shot and he keeps hitting them, I'm fine with that, because then, you know, you make them take a step up, because if you're hitting that shot, remember, it's all percentages. So the point is over a long period of time, but last year he was knocking down that shot at a high percentage. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't have a problem if it's one player doing that in the right spots. It becomes a problem when like your whole team is a bunch of guys taking inefficient shots, or if it's a player who is built to make other shots. So I guess with Burke, I would worry less about the threes and more, is he driving, is he balancing those mid-range shots with driving to the hoop? Because then that way, like I said, it opens, his job to me is opening up the other shooters.
Yeah, I thought about that too. The problem is the way the lineups are going to run, I guess, this year. They have to either surround Burke with a ton of three-point shooters, otherwise their paint's just going to be jammed. You know, you can't really, if you have the Burke, and all of a sudden you put Cantor there, and then you have Frank.
Yeah. Although they got Cantor shooting. No, I mean, the problem is that their roster right now, they don't have a lot of guys that can score. I mean, let's just face it. That's just how it is. There's a lot of lineups. There won't be a lot of scoring. So you're right. But that's just part of the roster right now. But yeah.
Yeah, especially if you have the defensive issues, if you do them, him, Hardaway, and Cantor, then you're just going to be in a deep trouble of some sorts.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I guess, yeah, they have guys who, like, in the right moments, we know they could score, but you don't know if you can count on it, you know, every single night without KP in there.
Yeah, because the defensive mechanics and fundamental, or I guess like the system, you can kind of implement the system in one way, but I guess there's a certain physical limitation with, you know, like Cantor can't really move that well. You know, he's going to be stuck on these screens. You know, there's only so much you can do to hide him, but, you know, they're just going to, you know, teams will just run pick and roll, and there's nothing you can do about it because he can't move. And Burks, there's too tiny, so they're just going to, you know, he's going to have trouble going, I guess, you know, under all these screens to an extent. But I guess you got to live with it.
Yeah, well, no, I just think, I guess, when I'm saying they don't have a lot of guys that can score, to me it's more, I guess I should say, they don't have a lot of guys who are going to create their own shot, right? So that's where, to me, Burke is very valuable because, like I said, he can drive and create, you know, draw guys to him. So you really need someone doing that because you're not giving it to Courtney Lee to go one-on-one and beat someone off a dribble or something like that. So yeah.
Definitely. And then the last thing before I get off real quick, you know, we've kind of gone through the same path of like chasing for the max free agents to an extent. Does that seem to worry you? Like, you know, have like a similar worry in your sense? So even if you try to bring in a guy like Kyrie or anybody like that, they're kind of essentially anointed to be a savior. You know, kind of really plagued us the last, I don't know, X amount of years, 15, 20, whatever X amount of years. You bring a guy, you know, they're kind of asked to be the king of New York, and then all of a sudden they just kind of.
Yeah, no, it doesn't worry me because they've done it. They've only done it before in like crazy ways. So that whole year they went after LeBron, the concept was we're going to have nobody on our roster because that means we have no salaries. But then they had nobody on the roster, right? Where now we actually have young, promising pieces that I think a culture they're building where it's like, okay, yeah, you're going after a free agent, but it's not all or nothing. It's saying, like, let's say they miss next summer. I think where we would all be upset and say typical Knicks is if they did what kind of ended up happening with Amari, where they say, let's get that middle level guy because we missed the top guys, pay him a big amount because we needed to get someone. And now we're stuck with him, right? I think if they miss next summer, they should say, we still got a lot of young guys that can develop more. Let's wait to the next summer when there's a bunch of free agents then, and our guys are another year developing. We got another lottery pick. So to me, it's same old Knicks if next summer they overpay for the wrong guy. But I think they're building a core while also going after a guy, and that I think is different.
Got it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Vivek. Good questions, great questions as usual. I'm gonna get to my man, the Prince. The Prince, what's popping, man? How you feeling? The Prince, can you hear me? I see you got the phones on, you got the headphones on, you got the Knicks hat on, you're chilling. I don't think you can hear me. It looks like he's stuck. There we go. There we go. He moved. Hey, the Prince, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
What's going on, man? You had me nervous for a second. You was like froze. I didn't know if something happened to you, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's this shady service up here in Michigan, man. I don't know what's up. Shut up the chat. What's going on, Knicks Film School, man? Hey, we appreciate what you do, man. You and Sim.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. I don't know if it was you who had posted something on Bleacher Report or the guy Willie Reed, the center. I know he has some off the court issues, but what do you think about him? Do you think he's a real possibility he could be a backup for us?
Yeah, I guess he was just someone that they had. I think it was Begley who said it, that they had interest in the past. So, and this is the way Begley likes to report on things. It's always like very, precise. They had interest in him in the past, so they might have interest on him in the future. So I didn't know what to take with that report. It's like, I liked this girl before, so yes, I probably still like her now. So I haven't seen anything else with that, and he's had off-court issues too. I don't know if that's what they're looking for. I think it was it Mills or Perry who said if they're going to bring in a veteran, they want a very particular type of guy who is going to be the right guy around these young guys, And I think they did that with their coaching staff, like Keith Smart. He went through a lot. I think it was in his neck. He had cancer, and he went through some crazy times and got out of it. These are just high character guys that have been through a lot in life that they want around these kids. So I think if they're adding another player, they're looking for that.
Gotcha. Definitely, man. I didn't really want much. I was talking to Ace Bezel too in the chat, and we was talking about just the max free agents. I'm a guy who believes also that we don't need 2 max free agents. I think 1 would be great. Kyrie or just a veteran leader who can lead these young guys with KP. And, maybe even if we don't end up with 2 max guys, like you were saying, hit a couple singles and doubles over the next couple of years and just build a culture and a good team.
Yeah, I'm with you. Where, like I said, if you can get that obvious max guy, then you get him, right? So if Durant is coming here, then we all know we want him to come here, right?
Right.
But yeah, I don't think, and it's funny because I love Kemba because I'm from Connecticut, so I grew up watching him tear up the Garden, as UConn. But I don't want to pay someone like that a max contract. Like you said, at that point, let's just keep going for the singles and doubles.
All right,
that's definitely it, man.
Yeah, fellas, I'm gonna try to get to a call. I got a call coming. I'm gonna get to a call. You're on live with nothing but Knicks. What's going on? What's popping, man?
What's going on, buddy?
Oh, there we go. That's my man. Hey, if you guys in the chat, I'm gonna mute you so you can. You want to hear Esco, so I'm gonna put you on mute so you can turn up the stream so you can hear Esco. You want to hear Esco. Because Esco's going to have something to say, and he's probably going to have something to say to all of us. I can guarantee you that. Esco is your world, bro. Go for it.
What's going on, my buddy?
How you feeling, man?
I had to call in and holler at my boy.
Uh-huh.
You know what? That guy, what's his name that you got the little special guest? What's his name?
JB.
He know what he talking about.
No.
He know what he talking about.
Okay.
I'm going to have to tune in. I'm going to start being a little fan of his, man, because I've been listening to him, and he know what he talking about, man.
He's knowledgeable. He got some knowledge. He got some New York Knicks knowledge up there.
I see. Man, I got to call in and just show him a little love, man. He know what he talking about. But you know what?
What's that? Hey, you know what? Before you even say something, I'm gonna give you your props. Troy Williams got waived.
I tried to. Now you know the organization had to get rid of him. You know why they got rid of Troy, man?
Why's that?
It wasn't because no. It wasn't because of fees. Man, Troy Williams had like his ass was on clear, man. Yeah, like he was on clear. Running up and down that court like that. Man, Troy Williams on clear, man. He had to be. He had to be, man.
Okay.
Let me just say one thing, man.
Uh-huh.
We got 7 more to go. We got what you want me to call you, man? Because I ain't really, just be listening to what they be calling.
You can call me Sim, man. All you gotta do is call me Sim. That's it.
Sim, okay,
Sim.
that's my boy. You know what, Sim? We got 7 more to go.
All right, who's that 7?
7 more.
Who's the 7?
We didn't got rid of that other fool. We got 7 more.
All right, who's the 7? I forgot.
Got the next 7 got to go.
Hicks, okay.
Hardaway knows. Oh my goodness, I don't know what to say about Hardaway, man. His shot selection is terrible. You got Baker, Boudier, Dotson, and Cantor. He just can't move. His defense is terrible. He can't move, so his offense pretty good, but his defense is terrible. Cantor got to go, and Lee, he got to go. You know one thing? I would love to see Frank Ntilikina vertical leap, man. I would love to see it. You know what I believe that fool vertical leap is?
What's that?
A damn 2.
You said 2.
I guarantee it's a damn 2. You know, when Frank Ntilikina drive to the basket, man, that fool lay the ball up like I used to lay the ball up when I was 13, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
He don't jump. He do not jump. I would love to see Frank Ntilikina vertically. I bet it is. He don't jump. He didn't. Man, hey, bro. I promise you, I guarantee you, I'm a football dude. I used to love to play football.
Uh-huh.
I guarantee, man, that fool lay the ball up just like I used to lay it up when I was 13, 14 years old. He ain't athletic enough, man, on the offense. Don't get me wrong, I love his defense. I love it. His wingspan, he got good defense. I love how he can move his feet. I love it. But man, I can't take that man on offense, man.
But
I can't take it.
But you know, sometimes, I mean, you got point guards like Chauncey Billups, like Jason Kidd. They don't have all the athleticism in the world. They're not the fastest. They don't jump the highest, but they got it done. They won championships.
You know what? I put you on it. I can agree with you on that one. But the only thing I give Frank a chance, man. I'm gonna give him a chance, man. When he go to the basket, man, he got to learn how to get up off his feet. He gonna have to learn to explode, man. Get out. He too long for that. He too long. And that man, he go to the hole, man. He don't even act like he try to jump. He just I don't. In them, like when he post the guy up in the summer league and turned around with the little face. Man, it was so lazy. I don't even see how the dude didn't block the hell out of it, man.
I mean, but he got it done, though. He got it done. Let's see if he can get it done in the league. He got it done.
You know, I saw a little couple of people in the chat the last time I called Sim. You know, like saying, hollering out, he ain't no Knicks fan. Look, man, you ain't got to be from New York to be a damn Knicks. Come on, man. You ain't York to be no damn Knicks fan. Hey, bro, I'm die hard to see my man cave. That'll kill you. That would kill you, man.
All right, well you need to join in on the video chat so we can see your man cave.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to show it to you, man. I'm gonna have to, but man, Sims, you'll be like, boy, you'll be like, man, what get up in there, man.
So where you from? Where you from, Esco?
Where I'm from?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm from the South south part of the world. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, man.
Okay. All right. Shout out to Jackson, Mississippi. Big shout out to Jackson, Mississippi.
You what now?
I just said big shout out to Jackson, Mississippi, man. Shout out to Jackson.
Yeah, man. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. I've been in Houston, Texas for like 5 years now.
Okay. Okay. So how you become a Knicks fan?
Man, I promise you, man. I don't. You know how in Mississippi, man. You know we ain't got no damn team. You know when we were young kids, man. We didn't. You know we ain't had. And you know what I'm saying, like a NBA game. We ain't got no teams down there. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no. You know Mississippi probably the poorest state in the world, bro.
Okay.
When we was real young, you know, growing up, all my little partners and myself, you know, we just started like, you know how you play the video game? Play the video game, man. We used to, you know, the bands and all that type of mess, and we just picked the team, man. I've been a Knicks fan ever since.
Okay.
30
All
years,
right.
man.
The Knicks was a squad back then. Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah,
hey, Esco,
man.
man. It's always a pleasure. I'm gonna let you rock out, but it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
It's
you know
always
I
a
gotta
pleasure.
call
But
in and holler at you, man.
you got. I need you to video chat in, though. All right.
Yeah,
I need you to video chat in so we can see your man cave. Hopefully, you got New York Knicks and New York Giants stuff all over the place. And whoever you talked about in that first call, when you first called up, when you told me I wasn't a Giants fan, some dude that you mentioned off the practice squad and told me I wasn't a Giants fan because I didn't know who he was back from 1986. I expect to see him on your wall.
Hey, let me say this right quick. So I want to get on your ass today, Sim. Let me tell you this right. Reason why I brought that up to you is because that Lewis Timmons broke every Walter Payton record at Jackson State.
Okay.
That's why. That's why I brought that up to you.
Makes sense. All right.
He broke. You know, Walter Payton used to play for Jackson State.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know he broke every Walter Payton record at Jackson State. Look it up. You'll see.
All right. I appreciate it. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. But when I see your man cave, I want to see him on your wall, man. But hey, Esco, I'm gonna let you rock.
He ain't gonna be on my damn wall.
All right.
You know, you gonna see the real vets. You gonna see Lawrence Taylor, Michael Strahan. You gonna see all them boys.
All right, no doubt. Definitely, for sure.
You ain't gonna see him now.
All right.
Hey, let me say something real quick.
All right, then I'm gonna let you rock.
Let me say something. Hey man, you gonna get a show when the Giants be playing or whatever?
You know what?
Yeah, you gotta do it, man. You gotta do it.
My man, the entertainer, and me and the entertainer, you know, we talk about doing some things, and you know, we'll see what we got in the works.
Man, go on, do it. See?
You know, we'll see what we got in the works. You know what I mean? You know, we got something in the works, but you know, we might have a show for the New York Giants.
You got to, man. You got to. Let me tell you one more thing.
All right.
What you think of Barkley when they have to put all 9 in the box and one-on-one all day, every day with Beckham?
It's
what you got to say about that, boy?
I'm gonna tell you what. Other defenses are scared. They're fearing it. They're scared right now.
Oh my God.
They don't know what to do right now. Yeah, we agree on that. They don't know what to do right now.
Oh my God. With Shepard and Ingram.
It's gonna be,
Lord. What they gonna do, Sam?
I'm telling you. Well, I don't know. Hopefully Eli, you know, can give us a good year. Give us a good 2 years. Let us get to that Super Bowl.
They got to keep them upright.
Yep, keep him up there. That's right.
With that new line, we might be good, though. With that new line.
That's right. Keep him on his feet. Let Eli get it into him. Man, we might be something. But Esco, I'm going to let you go, man. I'm going to let you go.
I'm going to let you go, man. Hey, man. Joe is the best.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, I'm going to tell you something, man. If they mess around and take your damn show off, oh, man, I'm going to be a hot red boy, man.
All right, man.
Hell no.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate it.
I love your show, bro. Y'all gonna get back to it. I'm gonna continue to listen, man, and I'll get back at you some other time. Buddy.
All right, man. Have a good one.
I'll holler at you, man.
All right, peace, man.
All right.
All right. All right, let me get my man JB back on the line. JB, were you able to hear Esco?
You know what? Unfortunately, I could only hear certain parts, whatever the sound was coming through to me. But a little tired. I was actually more entertained just watching the chat react to it. To be honest, so
he's a funny guy, funny dude, man.
Sounds like Mark. You're on tap. We're getting you on pay-per-view right now. With
Exactly. Yeah, guys, we are coming down to the end of the show. We only got a few more minutes left because it's getting pretty late. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, Who's Mark jumped back into the video chat. I don't know why. I kicked him out. He came back. I denied it. He came back again. I denied it, and he came back again. So I said, okay, I'm going to let Who's Mark say something because he obviously has something to say. I want to give a big shout out to CK2K. Want to give a big shout out to Knicks Fan TV for stopping through. I appreciate it. And hey, CP the artist, you know, I'm going to give you a call. I'm going to give you a call. All right, Who's Mark? Who's Mark?
Yo,
you on, bro. You on, man. You on. What's up?
I wanted to get in with Esco because he's right. We got 7 more to get off this team. I just want to, we got 7 players that need to, you know, get off this team. He's kind of right what he was saying.
Okay. So that was it. You just wanted to get in with Esco.
Yeah, because he gets it. Like he just gets it.
He gets it. All right.
He gets it.
All right. I mean, he didn't get it when he was talking about the Tillman dude and said I wasn't a Giants fan. He didn't get it then.
Now you a Giants fan? Why he say you ain't a Giants fan?
Because I didn't know who, you know, some 5th string dude off the practice squad was.
Well, who's gonna remember that?
I don't know. Nah. He was telling me about a guy that was from Jackson State because he's from Jackson, Mississippi. What his name? I think he said whatever Tillman, and I forgot his name.
I ain't going front. That still really stole my shine tonight.
Yeah.
Crazy right now.
Yeah. Esco is he's a funny dude, man. We got to get you two on the line together, let you guys talk.
The Mark and Esco mixtape. There we go.
Yeah,
honestly,
right.
Because let me tell you, the way he thinks is exactly how I think, man.
Yeah.
Get rid of all these bums, man, that don't serve no purpose here. And he was right about Troy Williams why he got kicked off. It was more because he was playing for a spot, but he didn't know how to calm down. He was just running like a wild bull out there.
Yeah,
like when I was watching.
He did sometimes. That was one thing about. I told my daughter, I was like, yeah, you play like Troy Williams. You get the ball and you just go. You don't know where you're going yet, but you know, I guess you'll figure it out when you get there. But he would get the ball and just go.
Yeah, and imagine if he's playing in the game with us in a real game, and he does something like that. Do you know how angry I would be if he did something dumb?
I can't imagine. Mark, I can't imagine how many holes you have in the wall around your house.
Yo, you know what's so funny? The guy, he came and paint my room. I had to close about like 4 of them. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. It's some holes it was some holes in my room, bro. Because let me tell you something. Last season, when we was doing good, and there was a couple of games where Jared Jack, he lost his games where we was right there to win games, and he was doing some dumb stuff, and I'm yelling at my TV saying, take him out. His service was run too long, and I just wailed at my wall because I don't want to hit my TV, but I have impulsive attitude. My attitude is very impulsive. When something really hits me, it comes right out.
Right, you're not gonna hit the TV because you need that to watch the Knicks, right?
Yeah, especially with the Knicks. It like I said, like when the season starts, people really gonna see me really, really mad because when you watching the Knicks, and there's games where you be like, "Yo, we could have won this game,"
right?
And something I always say, something dumb, like it always happens to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Something always happens to the Knicks, and that just pisses me off. And the fact that we was doing so good last year, because I wanted to be a playoff team last year, honestly.
Uh-huh.
And then when he kept playing, Jared, Jack, it was boiling my skin, man. So I had to punch like 5 holes in my room, and the man just came and plugged all of them up. You ain't lying. My attitude gets really crazy for the Knicks.
You gotta keep that under control, man. Hey,
I would rather a girl cheat on me than my Knicks lose. I swear to God, that's how I be feeling. I won't feel as mad as when my Knicks, as a girl cheat on me, than my Knicks lose. I be tight. I don't want to talk to nobody for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I can see that. But look, I'm gonna get to this. I'm gonna get to this last call. So this last caller, you the lucky caller, and then we're gonna end this up. Caller, what's going on? You on live? You are the lucky last caller.
Similar.
Oh, my man.
Who got the keys to my finger? This is the original Jamaican
Dundada. There we go. We hitting the jackpot tonight.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Lordy. What's going on, man?
I'm chilling, man. How you doing, man? I'm chilling, doing good.
All right, buddy. And JB, next one.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Guys, man, I mean, you guys are very, very knowledgeable, you know? I listen to all you guys, and thanks so much. Thanks so much for all the knowledge, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, yeah. JB's real knowledgeable.
Yeah, man, very, very knowledgeable, man. I've been listening. But it's JB, all right? It was about, it's about KP, because as much as I love KP, I'm kind of worried about his health. Okay. Because if you have a knee injury like that, you know, there's a problem. It could repeat itself. Future. Now, my thing right now is that can we somehow purchase insurance? Because if we give money in the future, can we somehow recoup that money if he does get it?
Okay, say that again. I didn't understand what you said. I mean, I heard you, but I'm just trying to comprehend what you're saying.
Okay, if we pay him that max, all right, in the future, all right. Now, if he gets injured again, is there some way that we can recoup that money by purchasing insurance on him somehow? Because I remember Amari, when we signed him, we knew that he had an injury.
Right.
The problem was that we couldn't insure him.
Right.
Because of his knees. We knew that he had bad knees.
Right.
So we couldn't insure him. Now, what about KP?
So
I
think
by recouping that money.
Yeah, and I think with KP, and I'm gonna get JB in on this, and you might have to, kind of, listen. You're not gonna be able to hear JB unless you're listening to the stream, all right?
Okay.
But JB, what he's asking is, can we insure KP's knees, which we should be able to after the ACL. I mean, so many people come back from ACL injuries. I don't think insurance companies are afraid of them. Insure his knees, and then obviously if he goes out and he gets hurt and his career ends because of his knees, then we can recoup the money. That's what he was asking about.
Okay, yeah. So with the insurance, I guess. So wait,
So I guess like it happened with Allen Houston.
Right, go on.
Yeah, so I guess he's saying like it happened with Allen Houston, right? When Allen Houston would, he was having his knee problems.
So basically, could we insure his contract if we re-sign him?
Exactly, insure his contract, right?
Well, it could be like Embiid. They did something like that where they created all these like crazy incentives based on like number of games played, and if things happened. Different amounts would guarantee or different incentives would kick in, so that they could do things like that.
Right. Right.
But you'd still have a lot of guaranteed money out there either way around it.
Yeah. So what he was saying is that you can do some things like Philadelphia did with Embiid, and put different kind of clauses in his contract, to kind of save yourself from dealing with the injury. But I think you can, it's all going to be on the insurance companies if they want to insure him, with his knees. Now, next year he should have insurance. They should have insurance on his contract for next year. And then, when they sign him to that bigger contract, insurance companies will see, they'll probably run him through tests or whatever they have to do, and then they'll let the Knicks know.
Plus, next year, even though he's out most of the year,
now
it's more on KP that will probably want the insurance, because let's say he came back like in January, and then he hurt himself before he signed his big contract. He's going to want insurance for himself to protect against that. Right.
Yep. My man, I missed you for a second. I had to put you on hold. So something that JB, could you say that one more time?
So the other side of it is KP is going to want to take out insurance for himself, because since he's not signing an extension this summer, if he were to come back next year, like in February, and play 15 games or something, and then get hurt, and he misses out on a big contract, he's himself going to want insurance to protect against that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you hear that? No, you didn't hear that.
No.
But he said KP may even take out insurance on himself, because if he comes back next year, say he plays 15 games, and then, he gets hurt again and he can't get that big contract, he may want to take out insurance on himself. So
when something goes wrong with KP next year, we are still stuck with the amount of money that's left.
Well, so if something happens because they're not going to extend him this summer. If something happens with him next year, say he comes back next year, then they would be stuck with his contract to the end of next year, right? Because that's when he's going to be a free agent.
Yep.
Right. And then, so if something happens next year, say he comes back in December and he goes down in January, the Knicks will have to pay him up until, the end of the next season, but then they'd be free of the contract. And then, of course, they'd have to make a decision, what do we do? Then you would hope that they can insure him. See, the Knicks took a crazy chance with Amari, and, and they couldn't insure Amari. They took a big chance with Amari and they couldn't insure him. And they ended up, they ended up losing that chance, right? Amari, he played at a very high level the first half a year, and then Melo came and things changed a little bit. He gave us a little bit of production, and then it steadily went downhill, because of his knees and his back and different things. Hopefully it's not the same way with KP, man. But I think, once he comes back and plays, doctors from whatever insurance companies will probably look at KP, and then they'll tell the Knicks if they'll insure him or not.
Oh gosh, Sim, I just hope to God it doesn't happen to us, because it'll be a repeat of Amari all over again. But I tell you something, I am so happy to be a Knicks fan, and I'll tell anyone that, because many teams out there, they'll go ahead and they'll say we have the best crowd, we have the best fans. But I'll tell you something, you judge the fan base by how long we have been knocked down, and we still get up. Many fans, they'll just come out of the woodwork because their team is now winning. Example, Golden State, Lakers. But I've seen many times when they're losing and they're half filled, their arena is half filled. If you go in Madison Square Gardens, no matter how poor Knicks players are doing, no matter how bad the team is playing, the Square Garden is always filled. And that's why I tell you, I am so happy to be a Knicks fan, and I'll never leave the Knicks. All I want to see from them is that even if they sign just one max player next year, that's good enough for me. I want to see them compete. I want to see the kids develop, because that's the most important thing. Because if we can get to a point where we don't have to sign all these max players and our own kids grow up in the system and they become max players themselves, that would be the complete story. That would be the best story. But that's what I need for our team to do. And shout out to the Knicks. They're doing the right. Love my team. Know the team. I'm a Knick for life.
There we go, bro. All right. Appreciate the
All
call,
right.
man. As usual. Love it when you call in, man. Love it when you call in.
All right.
All right. Last call of the night was a good one, and we about to head out. Appreciate the call, brother.
All right. Okay, JB, take it easy, buddy.
All right,
All
peace.
right.
Always a good call. I like that caller, man. Always a good call. So I want to get back up here with my man. Oh, got the wrong screen up. There we go. So JB, I'm gonna head out.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the Prince and Who's Mark a second. About 30 seconds to say something right quick before I take them off the screen, and then I'll let you get if you want to end us off with something, and you can tell everybody where to look for your videos and anything you got coming up next, and then we'll head off for the night.
Okay.
All right. So the Prince, man, what's popping? You got 30 seconds, bro.
Hey, shout out to chat. Not me, son. Ace Bezel, my guys, man. Hey, I went back in the chat March 13th. I called Kevin Knox was the pick we was gonna make. I was the first one. Just put it out there. Hey man, still doing what you're doing. Knicks Film School, keep doing what you're doing. I don't know if it's paying the rent, but when it do, bless y'all. Keep doing what y'all doing. We appreciate y'all, and us up till 1 o'clock in the morning talking Knicks.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Shout out.
Have a good one. Out of there. Who's Mark? You on deck, homie?
Yo, I just want the chat to know, man, I'm not an angry person, man. I'm just highly animated, man. Just want y'all to know I be chilling, man. Like, people always think I'm mad. I'm not mad, man. But I love y'all guys. I love the chat. I love the trolls. Y'all keep trolling me because I'm sitting here laughing with you guys. So,
All right.
Holla back.
All right. Peace out. And he's out of there. Oh, he's out of there now. Mark, I can't get rid of you. I don't know what's up.
Wait, let me get rid of myself.
Yeah, it won't let me get rid of you.
He's got that.
There we go. All right. And then JB, if you wanted to stay on a second afterwards, instead of just getting right off, I could talk to you for a second afterwards after I get off of here.
Yeah.
All right. So, JB, you want to give us just one last take?
No, I just want to say, I love being on the show. The chat is awesome. We gotta get Mark Verzesco trending. So I just started that up on Twitter. If you guys want to go check that out. But
yeah, definitely.
But no, all you guys got great takes, and people always ask me do I run an account for any, to make money and whatnot, and I don't do a lot of it. I just kind of have fun, just talking to Knicks fans like this. So this is what makes it fun for me. So what is it? It's 1:15 in July. And we're up talking Knicks because we all love it. So what's better than that?
Yeah. At about 12 something in the morning, early. I was looking at the stats. We had 475 people on just listening and talking Knicks. Ain't nothing better than that. You know what I mean? So that's great, definitely. All right.
Appreciate that you had me on, definitely.
Yeah, I thank you for coming on for real. It's been a pleasure. And I'm sure, everybody loves what you do. I love what you do. And, we thank you for coming on and talking Knicks and talking Cap with us. And, we'll look forward to doing it again.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Knicks fans, we appreciate you for staying up with us late. If you like what you saw, you like the live stream, please subscribe below, ring the bell, get a notification anytime that I go live. I'll be back on Sunday night, 10:30. After my AAU game. I got an AAU game at 7:30. I got a crazy week of AAU games. We're going to play about 7 games in the next 5 days or something like that. But I'll talk to you guys about it. I might even go live a little bit from one of the games one of these nights. But I'll talk to you guys Sunday night. Have a good one. Good rest of your week. Peace.